Good morning. A manhunt is underway for two prisoners mistakenly released from HMP Wandsworth.
Well, including an Algerian man, a registered sex offender who was in the early stages of being deported.
But after police were told that, or at least weren't told, for 6 days that he was missing, is there any hope they can locate him?
A Home Office whistleblower claims that staff are being pressured into approving asylum cases, even when the person in question has been charged with sex crimes.
Prince William hails climate innovators as the world's true action heroes as he hosts the Earthshot Awards in Rio.
For my children particularly, knowing that the planet's going to be in a healthier, better state because of the brilliant people in this room is something that I love to tell them, you know, when they go to bed. It's like, it's going to be great. Your future is going to be as bright as futures gone by.
Well, the Prime Minister is joining Prince William in Rio ahead of the COP30 climate summit in the Amazon.
A slump in NHS productivity is costing the economy up to $20 billion a year. But is it a sign the NHS is now broken beyond repair? We'll debate that this morning.
In sport, Erling Haaland scored against his former club Borussia Dortmund as Manchester City won 3-1 in the Champions League last night. Newcastle were also victorious, but Chelsea were held to a 2-2 draw by Karabag in Azerbaijan. The Nottingham Forest owner Evangelos Marinakis has gone on trial in Athens, accused of instigating football violence. And there'll be a modified court and one serve each when Aryna Sabalenka and Nick Kyrgios meet in tennis's Battle of the Sexes next month.
Good morning. It's going to be another mild day wherever you are, and some of us could see some sunshine. Find out all the details with me a little later on.
It's just gone 6 o'clock. I'm Stephen Dixon.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast. So if you want to be bang up to date when it comes to interior design, apparently you need to ditch your kettle.
Really? Why?
This is a survey from Wix, and apparently this is where kitchen design is heading. So Gen Z, they hate kettles, and they hate toasters, and they hate, what's the other thing they hate? Fridges.
Life.
Fridges?
They want to hide everything. So the trick is now, if you're designing a kitchen, you want everything away, nothing on the surfaces, and they don't want to wait for a kettle to boil because that takes 2 to 3 minutes.
Well, I must concur. We have, for a couple of years now, had a hot tap. It does save a lot of time.
So you recommend. Apparently this is the way it's
But
going.
they're very expensive, though, aren't they? They cost a lot of money. The Gen Z, when are they going to get their money from?
It's true.
Mind you,
I think
kettles
you can
are
get different levels of hot taps. Ellie mentioned one at £2,000. I sincerely hope that we didn't spend £2,000 on our hot tap, though it did break down after about 6 months. So
Oh, no.
maybe you should have done that.
Maybe we should have done, yeah.
Buy cheap, buy twice.
It's very true.
Apparently the kettle is going to be obsolete by 2075. Probably is going to be, you know.
But kettles are expensive. We bought a kettle last year, and it was, or start of this year, and it was about 90 quid or something.
Yeah,
for a
kettles
kettle.
are expensive. So yeah, that's the way the Gen Zs want it.
What do they do if they don't want a toaster? How do they? What, are they just
Eat
doing
bread.
it under the grill?
Just eat bread. Let them
No,
eat
a grill
bread.
would take longer. Grill would take longer, surely. But yeah, it's a bit like toasters or appliances, it would seem. They have an issue with appliances now. So best of luck to them making their tea and toast in the morning.
I'm glad I'm going to be dead in 100 years.
No,
to be perfectly honest. Well,
maybe in 100 years you might.
Not even 100 years, obviously. But honestly,
Get through the weekend
The way
first,
the
Stephen.
world's going at the minute, I'm glad I won't be around to see some of it.
Oh dear.
Anyway, that's a cheery thought, isn't it?
Well.
Right, let's crack on with our main news this morning. And you may have heard this late last night. A double manhunt is underway after 2 inmates were wrongly released from HMP Wandsworth, including a sex offender who was due to be deported.
Well, 24-year-old Algerian national Brahim Kaddour Sharif was freed 6 days ago, but police only learned of the blunder this week.
Meanwhile, Surrey police are hunting 35-year-old Billy Smith, who was released in error on Monday. He has links to the Woking area.
Well, the Justice Secretary, David Lammy, says he's outraged and has ordered an urgent investigation after admitting that he only learned of the mistake overnight.
Well, let's talk to former Superintendent with Scotland Yard and counter-terrorism expert Martin Gallagher. Martin, good morning to you. What is going on?
Good morning. So just to clarify, I'm a former superintendent of Police Scotland, not Scotland Yard. So in respect of both individuals, they seem to be part of a trend of mistaken releases, which has gone up 128% in the last year. So I don't think they're not alone. I think it's something we have to acknowledge from the start here.
So in terms of this Algerian national who's been on the run now for the best part of a week, I mean, we're talking about a serious head start there. Where do the police even begin to try and find this man?
So they'll be looking at his associates, they'll be looking at the Algerian diaspora community, and then you have to consider the possibility that he's left the country under his own steam, which would be very embarrassing, but is a possibility as well.
I mean, it just seems beyond belief, especially after what we saw a couple of weeks ago, and we were told that much tougher measures were being brought in to prevent this thing happening, and then we find out there's been at least 2 more since then.
Yeah, I think that there has to be obvious serious consideration in the prison service as to how that's occurred, particularly after Kabatu was released, and you know, they've known about that and the furore that created. I mean, I'm not going to try and teach the prison service how to do their job, but surely, you know, individualised uniforms for those considered for deportation would be the way to go. And then you couldn't get a release like this, you know, a really simple symbol that to the staff, you know, so you can't then argue they're under pressure, they're making mistakes because they're understaffed. There's a really simple way around that, which is what we used to do, you know, go back in time. That's prisoners used to wear individualised uniforms to indicate who they were.
How likely do you think it is, Martin, that the police will be able to find these 2 individuals? And do you think the fact that now the press have exposed it and it's become a high-profile case, these 2 men, that it's more likely that they'll be caught?
Well, I think it's more likely they'll be caught, given the publicity that exists, and you know, the British public, in their usual manner, will be wanting to assist the authorities in getting them caught. The police will, I would expect, catch these individuals. You know, they would have anyway, generally do with escaped prisoners. But given the publicity, I think it's very likely that they're going to catch them. If they've gone abroad, I don't think that's the case with William Smith, but with Kaddour Sharif, it may be a possibility. Then it becomes more difficult.
All right, Martin, good to get your update. Thanks very much indeed. Well, the Ministry of Justice has said this today. The crisis in the prison system this government inherited is such that basic information about individual cases can take unacceptably long to reach ministers.
On entering the House, facts were still emerging about the case, and the DPM had not been accurately informed of key details, including the offender's immigration status. No media story about the individual case was yet in the public domain, and it was and remains subject to a live police investigation.
Well, the Deputy Prime Minister was asked questions about the release of an asylum seeker. As was confirmed after PMQs by the Home Office, the individual was not an asylum seeker.
Well, the Deputy Prime Minister waited until after PMQs and further facts had emerged before making a statement.
And you may remember that at Prime Minister's questions yesterday, David Lammy was asked about this and sort of denied that any of it was happening, or at least dodged the question. I suppose it would be a better way of putting it, to give him his due. He just dodged the question. And then, of course, they've all had to backtrack, haven't they, when it's all come out? So, I mean, to sort of say, well, you know, we've inherited a problem that means ministers can't be told what's going on. Well, will that wash with you or not?
Yeah, I mean, even the Metropolitan Police have come out and said, yes, it is a live investigation, but we were happy for you to confirm that these 2 individuals, or one individual at the time, had been released. So he was able to say so if he wanted to. That's what the Metropolitan Police are inferring.
Right. Meanwhile, on top of all of this, a Home Office whistleblower has claimed that migrants accused of crimes, including sexual offences, are still being given asylum in the UK.
Well, a senior caseworker says that staff are being pressured to hit approval targets and that some applications are fast-tracked with little scrutiny.
Political commentator Theo Usherwood is here.
Good morning.
Even if you go, Theo, through a simple tick box exercise with asylum seekers, if someone has a conviction, or particularly a serious conviction like a sex crime, then surely that should be an instant no.
Of course. No, without any doubt. But this is a front page of the Telegraph story, and it's a senior caseworker telling the newspaper that Home Office staff can approve claims from asylum seekers charged with crimes as long as the offence for which they are being prosecuted does not merit a prison sentence of 12 months or more. So some fairly serious offences come within that that would allow claims to be granted. This goes back, from my understanding, this would go back to what happened under the previous government, whereby anybody who arrived in a small boat couldn't claim asylum in this country. That's the way they created the law. And the problem that manifested was that it created this huge backlog where you had at one point more than 50,000 people in hotels, a backlog of more than 160,000, where people weren't having their claims processed. And the government of the day thought, well, that would be enough of a deterrent to stop people crossing the English Channel. But of course, people cross the English Channel to come to this country and quite happy to sit in a hotel and not have their asylum case processed because they were in a hotel being fed, watered and clothed. It was not a problem. So when Yvette Cooper came in as Home Secretary, she made it obvious that she wanted to start processing claims. The problem, of course, that creates is that in order to get through the backlog, there will be people who will be deported, but there are also people who will have their asylum application granted. And from what this caseworker is telling the Telegraph is that the pressure is to reduce the number of people in hotels, to reduce that backlog of asylum cases that need to be processed, is so great that actually it's worth just letting as many through as you possibly can. And Keir Starmer, just to take you back, and this is the bit that I think will really annoy your listeners, take you back to that one-in, one-out scheme that he announced with Emmanuel Macron back in the summer. He was adamant that the whole point of doing this was that by deporting people and then bringing people from an asylum centre in Europe, whether it be France or Spain or wherever, to this country, they could be properly vetted, they could be properly checked, and we could understand whether they have a criminal record or not. But it appears here that actually, even if they've committed an offence, as long as it's not less than 12 months, that's OK. And I don't think it is OK, and I don't think your viewers will think it's OK.
Well, that surely needs to be looked at as a policy, doesn't it, Theo? I mean, Shabana Mahmood would be the first to say, and she has said, that the Home Office isn't fit for purpose yet. I mean, that's one of the most glaringly obvious things to look at, isn't it? 12 months or less. I mean, many sex crimes, people would be sentenced to 12 months or less, and that's who we're letting into the country. Yeah,
absolutely. And the whistle... I do feel sorry. I mean, this is a whistleblower who's obviously dealing with these claims, and this is her quote in the newspaper. It's a carousel, just going round and round and round. We're just browbeaten. That's how we feel in an asylum. We feel browbeaten because we read in the press that we're rubbish. It's not us. The ones at the coalface are doing the best we possibly can. We're in a lose-lose situation. And the point that I take from that quote is that they're trying, those who are actually dealing with these applications are doing their absolute level best to try and deal with the problem. But in order to deal with the problem and to reduce that backlog, to get people out of hotels, because, of course, the reason people are in hotels is because they cannot work when they're... And that's as it should be. I know there are charities that claim otherwise, but they're in hotels because they can't work, so they need that support. Once, of course, their application has been processed, and if they are given indefinite leave to remain in this country, then they can work and they can support... we would think that they can support themselves, and indeed they can claim benefits.
Well, but what I can't get my head around is I understand wanting to speed up the process, wanting to get as many people through the process as possible, and it clears the hotels and all the rest of it. But why would there be pressure to allow people to stay rather than pressure to say, actually, these people need to be, given a big red cross and deported as soon as possible?
Because you would think they would just then open up. You're dealing with somebody who's, who you reject, and you just know that you don't have the firepower to fight. This is my supposition, by the way, the firepower to fight every single case through the courts. And then you know that if you block every case, then there are going to be cases that go to the courts, and therefore the courts are going to check my asylum seeker in question will, use a legal challenge, and that you'll lose that legal challenge. So you would think from what this individual is saying, that actually there's a calculated decision where if we let in a number and then just concentrate on those who really shouldn't come into the country, I'm not of that view, and I don't think your viewers will be of that view.
No, but also it doesn't make any sense at all, does it? Because if you're saying anyone with a conviction, including a sexual conviction of 12 months or less, can stay, why then would we be so desperate to deport Kabatu, who was given a sentence of 12 months? So do you know what I mean? It doesn't actually balance out at all, does it?
So from what I've read of this is where the sentence is 12 months or, let me read this, it does not merit a sentence of 12 months or more. So Kabatu could have been given a sentence of longer than 12 months. There will be cases which, of course, you can receive a prison sentence of 6 months or longer than 12 months. Kabatu's sentence
was 12 months.
Was 12 months.
So under those circumstances, if he'd had that conviction before he got here, he could have got asylum.
But potentially, yeah.
Yeah,
potentially.
That's the system as it stands.
The system is completely broken, yeah.
Yeah. Well, let us know what you think on that one. gbnews.com/you'll say.
Well, the Home Office has replied to all of this, saying we take all allegations seriously and are committed to addressing any concerns appropriately. However, we do not accept the characterisation of these concerns as presented.
The integrity of the UK immigration system is paramount. We operate within a robust framework of safeguards and quality assurance measures to ensure that all claims are thoroughly assessed, decisions are well-founded and protection is granted only to those who meet the established criteria.
We are changing the law so individuals convicted of sexual offences cannot be granted asylum in the UK. So it's word salad. To be fair, because they're saying, we've got very stringent rules, but then also saying we're changing the law so that people who have sexual offences can't get asylum, which means at the moment they can.
Yes.
So it's actually sort of saying, well, this seems to be right, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's shocking, isn't it? Really is.
Oh, dear.
Now, 16 minutes past 6, let's take a look at some other stories coming into the newsroom this morning.
Well, resident doctors in England, they were ones we used to call junior doctors, have rejected a new offer from the government to end the dispute over jobs and pay. It means they're set to continue with plans for a 5-day strike starting next Friday.
1 in 4 adults encounter scams multiple times a week. This all been revealed as part of a report by the Global Anti-Scam Alliance. A fifth of people also reported losing money to a scam over the past year.
And Collins Dictionary has crowned, oh Lord, here we go, vibe coding as its word of the year. It's an AI buzz term that refers to software development that translates spoken words into computer code. Collins says the term reflects our changing use of language.
What's vibe coding? What? I've never even heard of it, have you?
No, I've never heard of it. But it's the word of the year. Well, it's 2 words for a kick-off. Come on, Collins. I mean, it's ridiculous.
I've never heard of it.
So it means you sort of talk to a computer and it automatically translates it into presumably DOS, which is computer language. But why do we need that in our lexicon?
It's lost on me. Is it in our lexicon? I'm not even sure it is.
Well, it's the word of the year. Words of the year. I mean,
I'm not sure about that one. Don't think it's going to stick.
Oh, do you know, I could scream this morning.
It's all too much.
With the first 18 minutes, doesn't it just make you want to scream a little bit?
Hopefully the weather will cheer you up, even though I'm not sure it will. Annie Shuttleworth's got all the details for you.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning. Welcome to your latest GB News weather update brought to you from the Met Office. It's going to be another very mild day for the time of year. A drier day for many, particularly across western areas, and possibly even a few glimmers of sunshine. It's still fairly cloudy start out there, though. Much of that cloud will lift as the day goes on, but the sunshine and the cloud will come and go through the day, as will the rain too. There's a risk of showers across eastern areas first thing this morning, and then into this afternoon, a few showers possibly across parts of Wales, southwestern western England and moving into southern areas of Scotland too. But wherever you are, it's going to be another very mild day. We've still got those southerly winds, and in any sunshine we could reach 17 or 18 degrees. Into this evening then, it's still looking relatively dry for most of us. Quite a pleasant day to come for northern areas of Scotland, and it will stay relatively fine into this evening as well. Looking further west though, the cloud will roll in once again with a few showers around across western areas of Scotland, northwestern England as well, but Northern Ireland looking relatively dry. Further south across parts of the Midlands, a clear evening, but there is a risk of a few showers as we head into tonight, and the cloud's going to continue to come and go, but wherever you are, still staying very mild overnight tonight with those southerly winds dragging in plenty of mild air as well as the cloud. A few showers here and there. They should move through pretty quickly though if you do get caught with a shower on Thursday evening. And a relatively mild start to the day, a degree or so lower than this morning, but still pretty mild for the time of year. And it's going to be quite a fine day across eastern areas in particular on Friday once that cloud lifts through the morning. Still a few sunny spells across eastern areas of England, northern areas of Scotland as well, but looking further south and west, we've got the next batch of rain moving in. This could turn fairly heavy at times, as well as bringing some gustier winds and temperatures much closer to average in the low teens. Have a great day. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
21 minutes past 6. It's time for the Daily Reflection.
The GB News Daily Reflection.
Hello, my name is Nimsa Bunge, and I'm the pastor of Freedom's Ark, a member of the Evangelical Alliance here in the Tottenham Town Hall. In Luke chapter 2, verse 19, we read these tender words, "But Mary kept all these things and pondered them in her heart." Remembrance is more than just memory. It's keeping words, people, and even holy moments alive by holding them within us. The prophet Malachi in chapter 3 verse 16 speaks of a book of remembrance written before God for those who honor his name. It's a reminder that what we remember matters to us and even to God. It's important that first of all we remember people. The communion of saints reminds us that those who have gone before us, they are not forgotten, but they remain part of God's story with us. Secondly, we remember words. Like Mary, we treasure God's promises in the heart, words that can guide and sustain us in very difficult times. Thirdly, we remember just together, communities gathering in remembrance to strengthen bonds, to honor sacrifice, and to learn from the past. And finally, we remember that whatever we remember shapes our future. As philosopher George Santayana observed, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. Faith-filled remembrance is never nostalgia. It's a preparation for living wisely now. To remember in God's eye is to keep life, love, and hope alive. Let us pray. God of eternity, you hold our days in your hands. Teach us to remember with gratitude, to honor with love, and to live with wisdom. Through Christ, in the communion of the saints. Amen.
Westminster, the ultimate clique.
And you're fighting like rats in a sack.
But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask.
OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician.
Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
isn't it? Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes and Kerr weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. It's sports time. Marcus is here with us. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Plenty to get through in terms of the Football Champions League last night. Chelsea held by Karabag, who are the Azerbaijani champions. They're actually playing their 200th game in Europe, but they love the fact that they held the mighty Chelsea. Manchester City won again. Erling Haaland is phenomenal.
He's on fire at the moment.
Yeah, stole the words right out of my mouth.
Oh,
he is on fire.
It's all the raw milk.
It was bonfire night last night, so it was kind of appropriate for all of us liking our footballing puns. He scored against one of his former teams, Borussia Dortmund. Newcastle won as well, so they're going great guns. Staying with football now, you know, a couple of stories about Nottingham Forest this morning. Their owner, Evangelos Marinakis, has gone in trial in Athens accused of instigating football violence. This is a very long and complicated issue that involves, I think, more than 100 other accused individuals. So that's going to rumble. A slightly more positive story, which I thought you prefer with regards to Nottingham Forest, is that Stephen Crean, one of those involved in the horrible incident on the train in Cambridgeshire at the weekend, he produced some heroics. He's a Nottingham Forest fan, and Marinakis said at the time, if any Forest fans are caught up in this, we're going to pay their medical bills and everything else. Well, he's given Crean £10,000, a complimentary season ticket, and he's going to fly with the team to an away game in Europe in the next few weeks. So that's a nice touch.
That's nice.
Good stuff.
That's nice.
At least he deserves.
I mean, I'm a bit surprised in a way.
Why?
Well, just because it's such a... You don't often get these sort of such big, generous acts from organisations.
Well, he's a big man. He can be a very generous man. He's always in the headlines, but it's good that he followed up on his promise. One other thing, we've got the Battle of the Sexes coming up next month. Ellie, we discussed this yesterday. We wondered if they do anything special in terms of modifying the court or whatever. Well, it has been revealed that women tennis players move 9% slower than men. So when Arina Sabalenka plays Nick Kyrgios next month in Dubai, her side of the court will be 9% smaller.
Is that not unfair?
No, Stephen.
I think it's...
Nick Kyrgios, have you seen the power behind his serve?
Well, I know, but then he's got to change how he perceives the court.
Well, he has.
He's going to... If he keeps getting balls out... then it would be understandable.
Yes.
The lines have moved.
But it wouldn't be fair on Sabalenka to just play against Nick Kyrgios with no concessions made for the fact that she's a woman.
And there's one other concession as well. They'll only be allowed one serve each. Of course, he can serve at around 143 miles an hour. Mind you, she once served at 133 miles an hour, the second quickest serve in the history of the women's game. I think it's interesting, Stephen. It's going to produce a little degree of variancy that might just lead to a shock result, possibly.
Do you think?
Well, I think certainly she's got more of a chance than Martina Navratilova had when she played Jimmy Connors back in 1992.
I think he's going to have to be careful, isn't he? Because he's known for his temper.
Yes.
And he doesn't want any accusations of misogyny.
He's got to be very careful about that. And she's got to be clever tactically. If she just stays at the baseline and tries to hit the ball harder than him, it's not going to work. So I think she'll look to bring him in, move him around, try and exploit any...
She can move him about. He's got a bigger court to play on.
Well, but he's also got some injury.
She's got more chance of keeping it in.
He's got some injury issues. He'll be struggling with his wrist. I mean, I'm backing Sabalenka.
You're
to cause a bit of an... I mean, of course, Billie Jean King beat Bobby Riggs back in 1973, so it's perfectly possible.
On an equally sized court.
Yes, I know you don't like this.
I don't. No,
he doesn't like it at all.
No.
You know, do you want equality? Do you not?
Yeah, but they're not built equal.
No.
And he's much more powerful.
It's all scientific, Stephen. It's been looked at very closely.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Well, I hope so.
I mean, I don't know.
I think it'll be a great game to watch. When is it?
It's the end of December, 28th of December, I think, in Dubai.
Ah.
Right.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. Let us know what you think. I don't know if you sort of play on the same court. I don't know. It seems an odd way to balance it out, really.
I wouldn't play against a male tennis player in a
Can you play
section
tennis?
Unless, well, no, that's a fantastic
there you
point.
go. Yeah.
But if I were Sabalenka, you'd need concessions made.
All right. I don't know if that means if she wins, then people are going to say, well, of course you won. You had a smaller court to play on.
I know what you're saying.
Well, she's under pressure. I mean, there's a mixed opinion about this whole...
give her a bigger racket.
Well, I mean, she doesn't... She's got the power, but I think, you know, it's in Kyrgios's favour because he's been struggling. He's hardly played. He's becoming sort of...
He's ranked something like 600.
He's 652, so this is good for him. In a way, Sabalenka's on a hiding to nothing, but I like the way they've come up with these little subtle alterations, even if you don't, Stephen.
No, it's not for me. All right, Marcus, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Right.
Let us know what you think.
Yes, well, that's December the 28th, so we've got Christmas before then. And if you want to start thinking about the festive season already, how do you fancy Christmas on us this year? 40 grand in tax-free cash, £1,000 to spend on Christmas dinner, and a Christmas-themed GB News goodie bag.
Which is the best bit, I think. All in time for the 25th of December.
Don't tell lies.
Here's everything you need to know.
We're giving you the chance to win your entire Christmas this year paid for by us. First, we'll give you an incredible £30,000 in tax-free cash so you can have a brilliant new year. Then we'll give you a further £10,000 cash to spend on all your Christmas presents, the decorations, even the tree. Christmas lunch, that's on us too, with £1,000 in shopping vouchers to spend at your favourite supermarket. Finally, a GB News Christmas goodie bag. And the best news? You'll get it all in time for the big day. For a chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB17 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 28th of November. The winner may be contacted live on GB News, week commencing the 8th of December. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Yes, good luck.
Now, if you're travelling to work or school this morning, here's your traffic and travel update.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The A82 between Invermoriston and Drumnadro Cheat remains closed for planned maintenance, impacting traffic flow and causing longer than usual journey times. On the M48, a 7.5-tonne weight restriction is in place for heavy goods vehicles starting on the 27th of May next year, until further notice. In Surrey, a vehicle fire affects the M23 northbound between Junction 9 and Junction 8, leading to the closure of 2 out of 4 lanes. This incident is expected to clear later this morning. And on the trains, Northern buses are replacing trains between Corkicle and Whitehaven. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Now, do stay with us. Still to come, Meghan Markle is set to make a return to acting after an 8-year break. We're going to find out all the details next, with Freddie and Tim going through the papers. Chat to you in a second.
I'm Michelle Dewberry. This is Jubes & Co. with you.
Hello everyone, Patrick Christie is here. GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Access the stories that matter to you. Take the GB News family with you on any device. And as long as you have an internet connection. Tune in to GB News, anywhere on the planet or beyond. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. We're going through the papers in the company of Tim Vincent and Freddie Gray. Morning, you two.
Good morning.
To see you.
Should we run through the front pages first?
Oh, we could do that.
Because I think they're lined up, ready to go.
OK.
So, we'll start with the Telegraph. Oh, we can't get the staff these days. The Chancellor could introduce a new pay-by-mile tax for drivers of electric vehicles.
The Times focuses on the Deputy Prime Minister David Lammy coming under pressure after 2 more prisoners were mistakenly freed.
The Eye has that as well. Deputy PM feels heat over blunders, it says.
And finally, The Sun leads on the news that Meghan Markle is returning to acting for the first time in 8 years.
So let's see what Tim and Freddie make of all of that. What should we start with? I think we'll start with this, Freddie, David Lammy and the releases from prison, which he didn't seem to know anything about.
Well, everybody had a very good laugh at David Lammy's expense yesterday because he had a disastrous PMQs.
He got very angry, didn't he?
He got very angry. There was a mistake with the poppy. He had the poppy on, then off, and blah, blah,
blah.
blah.
More veterans poppy. That was
then more veterans poppy. And he didn't want to commit career suicide, apparently, which is why he didn't want to talk about this terrible error of releasing this prisoner. But actually what's surprising about this story is how often this happens. And it's not just a Labour problem, much as though I'd like to just blame it on this terrible government. We fairly regularly release prisoners by mistake. Often very dangerous prisoners. But I think it's tying into a broader thing, which you see in quite a lot of the papers this morning, which is a kind of awareness that Labour's grip on justice is very, very bad. And there's a lot of offenders being released. There's a lot of very dangerous migrants coming into the country who are not being checked and vetted and properly assessed in the Telegraph.
Well, sometimes they are being checked and
then released,
and then
waved through. And a fascinating part of that story is it's because they are sex offenders that they're getting waved through. Because they are sex offenders, they claim psychological problems, and then they're granted the asylum on psychological grounds. which is obviously a terrible reflection of how our immigration system works. But also the released prisoners thing shows that our justice system is failing too. And I'm afraid it's a kind of classic broken Britain theme that's going to be with us for a few days.
I know nothing about it except from what you read at home, but if you actually read the details of that, those guys that are released are being processed by video. They're not actually being in court physically. And so that's why he was given, I think, something like 44 months, given that sentence that day and released later in the day because the wrong person was doing it. And you think, well, I'm all for expediency and getting everything, get the backlog done, but I think that's probably where the problem starts. You can't do something like that that's that serious and have everything just on a video click, OK, you're off. But it's frightening, isn't it? There's a lot more people out on the streets than you think.
Well, and I quite like the authorities saying he's been given a 6-day head start. as though it was some sort of fun game of chase.
I mean, he'd be out the country, would he not?
Oh, they think so, yeah.
In which case, what are the chances?
We don't know.
Tim, let's have a look at this curriculum overhaul that we spoke about yesterday, or came out in the papers yesterday. Ed Sheeran's a fan.
Well, you know, it's Bridget Phillipson's curriculum reforms will limit opportunity and set back social mobility, Michael Gove has said. Of course, he previously had set out the previous template for what people were going to do, and he was very happy with that. Basically, the overhaul is saying that there should be much more forays into the creative side for music and expression, which for somebody that's, you know, has done quite a bit of that over the years, I think that's something to be applauded. However, not at the expense of not learning languages, having basic math skills and all the kind of things that I probably don't have. But, you know,
it's if we want to, and it's all well and good, and I know I've got a reputation for slagging off the arts and what have you.
He's not a fan.
I'm sort of not a fan, but I do appreciate it is important. Of course it is.
Yeah.
However, we do. I mean, it's not that long ago. We're trying to get more girls into the sort of STEM subjects.
Yes.
Weren't we? And the sciences and technology and all and engineering and all these things that actually you can properly do stuff with.
I think you've got to have a base that everybody has to touch base on all these things to find out if you're any good at these things. I think the devil in the detail in all of these policies, proposals, implementations is where's the money coming from? Who's actually going to do it? My school, I don't know about your school, but they're constantly sending emails out to can you bring in some extra Pritt stick glue for the kids to do some papers? And it's like, well, how are they going to make all these new things? How are they going to supply guitars or stages or productions for all these things that hopefully are going to be implemented?
Yeah, and I also think when it comes to somewhat, well, actually, we're all having work done at the moment at home, aren't we?
Yeah.
And you sort of think, you need carpenters and decorators and all these sort of, you know,
practical skills,
sparkies and all these people, proper trades.
Yeah.
And well, it might not sound as exciting to Gen Z, all the rest of it, but actually that's the way to make some serious money.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, yeah, absolutely. That's the way ahead.
This is one of those fortunate times where I can agree with my boss, Michael Gove, because he's actually completely right about all this, I think. And actually, while his political career, I think, had many ups and downs, as Education Secretary, he did introduce reforms that have, you know, statistically you can prove that they have improved education in many ways. And he's very upset about this. He thinks Bridget Phillipson, well, he likes her a lot. Personally, he thinks her reforms are going to completely undo all the good work that he did for education. And I think it is a great shame if we throw away probably the one thing the Tories got right, actually, was they actually did make some, obviously it's a complicated picture, but they did make some improvements to schools, and the free schools agenda did introduce some schools that are actually really thriving and really good and getting people very well educated and into our higher education system.
OK, at that point, we're going to take a break. You'll be back with us in just a minute. But first, let's have a look at the European weather.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries. All sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello, we've got some wet weather moving into Portugal through Friday, showers across the Mediterranean, but if you're heading away on the weekend, it is looking much drier across parts of the Med. In the Canaries, plenty of dry and sunny weather. That wet weather spreading into parts of Portugal and through the Mediterranean. We've got an area of low pressure bringing wet weather towards Italy as well as further east as well. But as I said, into the weekend, it is looking much drier with plenty of sunshine and temperatures in the mid-20s in Tenerife.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
I'm Jacob Rees-Mogg and this is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good afternoon, Britain. Weekdays from midday.
Sumo is a fantastically simple sport to win. There's only really two win conditions. You either drive your opponent out of the dojo, the ring, or you take them to the ground. And when we say take them to the ground, any part of their body other than the soles of their feet which touches the ground, that counts as a loss. Now, how you do this can vary. It varies between wrestlers and their backgrounds and styles. Some will be more focused on the driving and the pushing. Some, particularly with the judo background, more focused on the throws. There is kind of a core of winning techniques, which we call kimarite, and they're kind of standard winning techniques. But realistically, any technique you use to get your opponent either out or down, you'll win the match.
But the two that we're seeing on the screen look actually quite lightweight sumos, because I've seen some really heavy sumos, but with that weight, they are incredibly flexible. Like the one earlier was doing the box splits. I mean, there he is, look at that. That is not an easy... I'm training to do the box splits, and I can't do that. And look at him, he's going to roll all the way through as well. Rob, they're very fit, aren't they? But these ones look lighter.
So they are incredibly fit athletes, and I think one of the things people forget when they look at sumo or they look at rikishi is that they are athletes, and to a degree we're looking at two sumo wrestlers standing next to each other, and so they look normal size in comparison to each other. In terms of their body fat percentage, it's actually very, very low.
GB News, the People's Channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave. I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Looking through the papers with Tim and Freddie. Freddie, we keep being told to buy electric cars because they're better, and you're obviously paying less to make them run and all the rest of it. And yet now we're hearing from the Telegraph that they're going to be charged per mile.
Yes, this is an amazing example of Labour contradictory thinking, because, of course, Labour is very on board with the green agenda, on board with EVs, electric vehicles, getting people into electric vehicles, bringing down emissions and so on. And yet they also want fairness now, particularly economic fairness is an important part of their strategy. And so in the spirit of fairness, they want electric vehicle drivers to pay as much tax for the miles they use as petrol, or nearly as much as petrol drivers do. I've read the stories about this, and I cannot understand how the charge will be implemented. Do you know about this, Stephen? You're
No, I don't, but I actually was thinking of buying an electric car next year when I have to get another one, and this puts me right off.
I don't think they have a clear plan. As far as I can tell, they don't have a clear plan for how the miles... So you get in your electric car, you will be billed for the miles you do. I mean, presumably because your car will report back, but I'm not sure the technology's there. So it seems to me a classic Labour that what they're worried about is falling petrol revenue, because the price of petrol is going down so dramatically.
But you can't have it both ways.
So they're trying to make up for it with...
You can't be concerned about a decrease in petrol revenue, but then also be pushing for the green agenda and encouraging people to drive EVs.
Well, we happen to be run by extremely incompetent people who don't think very clearly about these things.
Tim?
I don't have an electric vehicle, and I'm very anti it. I'm very pro the climate, and I think we are sleepwalking into big issues if we don't correct a lot of what we're doing. However, electric cars are not solving the problem as of yet. And I have a car that's done 99,000 miles and is still going. Rowan Atkinson, who's a big car nut, about 2 years ago, wrote an op-ed piece where he said, I don't think electric cars are what they should be doing. They don't say what they're doing on the tin. And it caused a big furore within that industry. And I think he's right. At the moment, they're just not right. And taxing them is just going to pushing them out.
You should be looking at hydrogen cells. Really.
Exactly.
But I mean, governments have spent decades, or years at least, trying to economically incentivise people to go electric, and that's why the only reason why people do it. It's a faff, it's a hassle, but you might be able to save some money with it.
Or reinforce the infrastructure for transport, trains, tubes, all the things that we could rely on and not use our cars for. You can't rely on it. There's nothing going on.
The whole point of me thinking, well, I'll go electric, I mean, they often are very nice cars, but just because I do so many miles, I mean, I do about 30-odd thousand miles a year driving to and from work. So I thought, well, it'll save me a whole load of money.
Yeah.
Well, apparently not.
But I'd also be frightened about the fact that you can't get it charged in time, the car's going down. Yeah.
Range anxiety, isn't it? Well, talking about driving, Tim, men's belief in superior driving fails, apparently.
Did you pass your test first time? Can I ask personal questions?
Yes, I did.
You did, Stephen. I knew you would.
And it will come to no surprise to anybody that I didn't pass my test first time.
Well, they always say the second or third time's better.
Third time.
I was hoping to stay quiet on this one. I can't drive.
Oh, can't you?
No.
Well,
no.
You don't need to, I suppose, if you're in London. You can.
That's very generous. I probably do need to. But once my children thought we were with some family friends, and my children saw the father of that family getting in behind the vehicle, the wheel of the car. They said, "What's he doing?" Daddies don't drive. I had to say, no, it's just your daddy, actually.
Does your wife drive?
Yes, yeah.
Does all the driving?
Otherwise, we'd be really in trouble.
So really, you're just driven?
Yeah.
OK, well, that's the way ahead.
And resented.
So when did you pass, Tim?
I was the first time as well, the same as you, Stephen. But
tell the people who pass first.
I don't think we should gloat. I don't think we should gloat, because there has been a report that's come out that said men are not usually shy to boast about their driving skills, but the latest figures suggest that they may need to take their foot off the pedal of self-belief. Research has found that male drivers are more confident than women, yet responsible for the majority of serious accidents.
So true.
I could read you lots of info and facts and figures all the way through, but I will leave it at the bottom, is that some men might argue whether a conclusion can be properly drawn from statistics about which sex has the most crashes, because men drive more, apart from you, Freddie. But we do drive more, so we're going to have more accidents, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point, isn't it?
Are you good at reversing? I think that's always a good test,
Well, even better now they've got cameras.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's so much easier.
In another couple of years, we won't need to drive anyway. You'll be able to just sit in your own car.
That's what I'm pinning all my hopes on.
See, I've got no confidence behind the wheel, but I actually think that's made me a safer driver, because I just take things very slow and steady. I think people are aware that I'm not a very good driver, so they give me lots of leeway.
Are they?
No,
you have a big sign on the car?
I think it looks that way, yeah, because people just give me a really wide berth and I get along just fine. That's the trick, I think.
Can we just finish off with a bit of Meghan Markle?
Finally! This was my lead story. Meghan Markle, I can't believe that we haven't discussed this already. It's the front page of The Sun. The Duchess of Sussex is returning to acting 8 years after announcing her screen retirement. Meghan, 41, is filming scenes today for a movie called Close Personal Friends, starring Lily Collins and Brie Larson.
What role is she playing?
She's playing herself. So it's not a big stretch, I have to say. It's a cameo. It's only a day's filming, so,
Can you say that's acting if you're just being yourself?
Well, I think she's done that very well for the last 8 years. LA-born Meghan appeared in movies. She has appeared in movies, Horrible Bosses and Remember Me, and got her big break in TV legal series Suits. Some would argue her big break was meeting Prince Harry. But I think we'll probably see more of her in movies to come. Playing herself.
I think we can guarantee it's going to be a dreadful film.
I should think so.
Yeah.
Thanks very much indeed.
On that note, we're heading to the weather.
Today, clouds overhead, total zen within. Box Solar sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning. Welcome to your latest GB News weather update brought to you from the Met Office. It's going to be another very mild day for the time of year. A drier day for many, particularly across western areas, and possibly even a few glimmers of sunshine. It's still fairly cloudy start out there, though. Much of that cloud will lift as the day goes on, but the sunshine and the cloud will come and go through the day, as will the rain too. There's a risk of showers across eastern areas first thing this morning, and then into this afternoon, a few showers possibly across parts of Wales, southwestern England, and moving into southern areas of Scotland too. But wherever you are, it's going to be another very mild day. We've still got those southerly winds, and in any sunshine we could reach 17 or 18 degrees. Into this evening then, it's still looking relatively dry for most of us. Quite a pleasant day to come for northern areas of Scotland, and it will stay relatively fine into this evening as well. Looking further west though, the cloud will roll in once again with a few showers around across western areas of Scotland, northwestern England as well, but Northern Ireland looking relatively dry. Further south across parts of the Midlands, a clear evening, but there is a risk of a few showers as we head into tonight, and the cloud's going to continue to come and go, but wherever you are, still staying very mild overnight tonight with those southerly winds dragging in plenty of mild air as well as the cloud. A few showers here and there. They should move through pretty quickly though if you do get caught with a shower on Thursday evening, and a relatively mild start to the day, a degree or so lower than this morning, but still pretty mild for the time of year. And it's going to be quite a fine day across eastern areas in particular on Friday once that cloud lifts through the morning. Still a few sunny spells across eastern areas of England, northern areas of Scotland as well, but looking further south and west, we've got the next batch of rain moving in. This could turn fairly heavy at times, as well as bringing some gustier winds and temperatures much closer to average in the low teens. Have a great day. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Today, clouds overhead, total zen within. Box Solar sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for sharing over 5 million comments on your sale. Because when you talk, we listen.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. Due to recent roadworks, the A82 is closed between Invermoriston and Drumnadrocheat, so road users are advised to wait for the next amnesty period. On the M23 northbound in Surrey, there was a vehicle fire between Junction 9 and Junction 8, with one of 4 lanes closed. This incident is expected to be resolved by 7:10 this morning. Additionally, there are ongoing restrictions on the M48, with a 7.5-ton weight limit for heavy goods vehicles until further notice. And on the trains, there are disruptions on the Gatwick Express for those travelling to or from London Victoria. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
We're giving you the chance to win your entire Christmas this year paid for by us. First, we'll give you an incredible £30,000 in tax-free cash. Then we'll give you a further £10,000 cash to spend on all your Christmas presents, even the tree. Christmas lunch, that's on us too, with £1,000 in shopping vouchers to spend at your favourite supermarket. Finally, a GB News Christmas goodie bag. For a chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge, or post your name and number to GB17 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 28th of November. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates,
5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday Five.
You got me. You got me good there.
Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah.
Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight.
On the unpredictable.
What did she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace to Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
Good morning. A manhunt is underway for two prisoners mistakenly released from HMP Wandsworth.
Including an Algerian man and a registered sex offender who was in the early ages of being deported.
But after police weren't told he was missing for 6 days, is there any hope they can now locate him?
A Home Office whistleblower claims that staff are being pressured into approving asylum cases, even when the person in question has been charged with sex crimes.
Prince William hails climate innovators as the world's true action heroes as he hosts the Earthshot Prize in Rio.
For my children particularly, knowing that the planet's going to be in a healthier, better state because of the brilliant people in this room is something that I love to tell them, you know, when they go to bed. It's like, it's going to be great. Your future is going to be as bright as futures gone by.
The Prime Minister joins Prince William in Rio ahead of the COP30 climate summit in the Amazon.
Now, a slump in NHS productivity is costing the economy up to $20 billion a year. But is it a sign that the NHS is now broken beyond repair? We'll debate that this morning.
The Celebrity Traitors concludes tonight with 5 finalists going head-to-head for the ultimate prize. As the tension builds, here's one of the standout moments from the series.
Oh, God. I feel sick.
Erling Haaland scored against his former club Borussia Dortmund, who felt sick as Manchester City won 4-1 in the Champions League last night. Newcastle also emerged triumphant, but Chelsea were held to a draw at Karabag. Nottingham Forest are at Sturm Graz in the Europa League tonight as their owner goes on trial in Athens, accused of instigating football violence. And intriguing modifications have ramped up interest ahead of next month's tennis Battle of the Sexes, featuring world number 1 Arina Sabalenka and 2022 Wimbledon finalist Nick Kyrgios.
Good morning. It's going to be another mild day wherever you are, and some of us could see some sunshine. Find out all the details with me a little later on.
It's just gone 7 o'clock. I'm Stephen Dixon.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast.
I mean, look, I don't want to upset anybody over the Traitors thing. But the fact that we say one of the standout moments is Alan Carr being touched on the shoulder and giggling, saying, I feel sick.
No, you don't understand, because you don't watch it.
How is that a standout moment?
That's Alan Carr being selected by Claudia Winkleman as a traitor. So that is a standout moment.
Why is it a standout moment?
When she touches them like that, they're a traitor. So that's him being selected.
Have you watched the show, Stephen?
No, he hasn't.
Well,
he doesn't get it.
We're missing the context of that significant moment then, aren't we?
Do you not watch it either, Marcus?
No.
Goodness sake.
No.
You need to get on this now. It's really good.
I can't bring myself to watch it.
Why?
I don't know,
because everyone else likes it. He likes to go against the grain.
Well, yeah,
That's
maybe.
what it is.
It's too much sport. That's much more exciting.
Hey, I'll tell you what we should do.
Heroes and traitors every day in the sporting world.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, watch it, you'll be hooked.
How about this for you? How long can you hold your breath for?
20 seconds, max. I struggled to get across the length of a pool.
Right. Oh, well, there's a bloke here, right? He's a Croatian freediver called Vitomir Maricic.
Oh, yeah.
He's just set a new Guinness World Record
for
sitting at the bottom of a pool, holding his breath.
Let me guess.
Right, go on.
For 3 minutes and 8 seconds.
7 minutes and 20 seconds.
Nope. 29 minutes, 3 seconds.
No. It's not
29 minutes and 3 seconds.
not possible.
Holding his breath, and that's beaten the world record by 5 minutes.
How?
Well,
how can you train your body to do that?
He does breathe pure oxygen for 10 minutes beforehand, so his blood is properly loaded with oxygen.
Oh, well, that's cheating.
I think it is cheating. It's a bit like taking drugs and doing athletics, isn't it?
Yeah.
But he is he sat at the bottom of a pool without breathing for 29 minutes and 3 seconds. I think that's crazy.
That is crackers.
I mean, why is a legitimate question.
Well, if he's won a Guinness World Record, that would be why.
He's 40. And he's wearing a purple jumpsuit. It looks like a bar of Cadbury milk.
He does.
But there you go.
Oh, and he had a doctor on standby. That's probably for the best,
Well,
isn't
you
it?
think so, wouldn't you?
He leads a breathless life, doesn't he?
Well, he does.
Yeah. Imagine taking that first breath after half an hour. Gosh.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Apparently thought about quitting halfway through, but stayed down for another 15 minutes. Yeah.
That's serious strength of mind.
It's crazy, isn't it? Bonkers. Anyway, there you go. Now, our main news this morning is about a double manhunt which is underway after 2 inmates were wrongly released from HMP Wandsworth, including a convicted sex offender who was due to be deported.
24-year-old Algerian national Brahim Kadour Sharif was freed 6 days ago, but police only learned of the blunder this week.
Meanwhile, Surrey police are also hunting 35-year-old Billy Smith, who was released in error on Monday. He has links to the Woking area.
We can cross live now to HMP Wandsworth, where GB News national reporter Will Godley is. Good morning to you, Will, and what's the latest?
Well, Stephen, Ellie, good morning to you from HMP Wandsworth. Yeah, this is a prison that was placed into special measures last year and back in the news yesterday after, of course, it emerged that they had wrongly released 2 prisoners. Perhaps not surprising when the latest figures show that, on average, last year, 5 prisoners across the country were accidentally released every week last year. But no doubt deeply upsetting and disturbing for local residents here who feel that the prison here simply isn't doing its job, keeping people who are supposed to be behind the walls, behind me, keeping them there safe from members of the public. Let's just remind ourselves of who has been let out prematurely, accidentally released. Of course, we heard yesterday from police that 24-year-old Algerian convicted sex offender Brahim Kadour Sharif was released on Wednesday last week. The police only hearing about it on Tuesday. He had 6 days out on Britain's streets without police even aware that he was accidentally released. Well, when they were made aware of this accidental release, they launched an immediate manhunt and they are searching throughout London. Police aware that he has links to Tower Hamlets and also frequents the Westminster area. But as that manhunt goes on, there's a second manhunt, we learn, also underway, not this time by the Metropolitan Police, but Surrey Police leading this one. This one is for William Billy Smith, who was sentenced for multiple fraud offences on Monday, due to spend 4 years behind the walls here at HMP Wandsworth. But instead of spending time here, they accidentally released him. He's known in the Woking area of Surrey and police looking for him there. They say he was last seen in a blue tracksuit and black trainers. And as these manhunts go on, get more questions for David Lammy as police chiefs this morning, warning that early releases and shorter prison sentences will actually increase the number of crimes on Britain's streets. And of course, these early releases and accidental releases here this last week that we've heard about happened just days after David Lammy introduced what he described as the strongest release checks ever in place in Britain's prisons. Well, we're hearing from the Prison Officers Association this morning, saying those checks clearly aren't working, leaving yet more questions for David Lammy to answer. Follows, of course, when he was asked multiple times, filling in for Sir Keir Starmer in Prime Minister's questions in the House of Commons yesterday, whether he was aware of any more asylum seekers that had been accidentally released. Well, he refused to answer that question multiple times, despite the fact he was aware of this Algerian 24-year-old sex offender accidentally released from Wandsworth Prison. Worth noting, of course, he he wasn't an asylum seeker. He came here legally back in 2019, but overstayed his visa, and the Home Office due to deport him. But still, questions to be asked over David Lammy, why he didn't make a statement in the House of Commons yesterday at the dispatch box when these questions were being asked. Some MPs accusing him of misleading the Commons, but all of this comes amid local residents here concerned that this prison under special measures simply isn't doing enough to keep people here safe from the prisoners who should be behind bars.
OK, Will Godley, thank you for bringing us the update from HMP Wandsworth.
Well, a spokesperson for the Ministry of Justice said the crisis in the prison system this government inherited is such that basic information about individual cases can take unacceptably long to reach ministers.
On entering the House of PMQs yesterday, facts were still emerging about the case, and the Deputy Prime Minister had not been accurately informed of key details, including the offender's immigration status.
Yeah. I mean, you think, to be honest, and I get why they're trying to defend the Deputy Prime Minister there and the Justice Secretary, David Lammy, but in a way you'd sort of want more of a statement about how this has been able to happen.
Yes,
rather
we'd like to know.
Rather than the fact that the ministers weren't informed in a suitable time span, which is questionable anyway. But anyway, you come to your own conclusion on that. Meanwhile, in Maltable for the Home Office, a whistleblower has lifted the lid on how migrants accused of crimes, including sexual offences, are still being granted asylum in the UK.
Well, the senior caseworker says that staff are being pressured to hit approval targets and that some applications are fast-tracked with little scrutiny.
Let's talk to political commentator Theo Usherwood. I mean, the fact that there are approval targets seems crackers when you're talking about asylum claims.
Yes, it seems as if the system is, and this feeds into the narrative. I was listening to Freddie Gray talk about it just when he was reviewing the papers, the narrative that, the British state is broken, that, asylum claims, and this would be what your viewers would think, I would imagine, should be handled whereby only the most, those who face legitimate reasons for, legitimate fears of torture and death, execution, maltreatment, were they to be sent back to their country of origin, are granted asylum. That's how the system should operate, and yet we now, and according to this whistleblower, have a system which actually allows people who have been prosecuted or face prosecution for offences which have a jail sentence of less than 12 months can still have their application granted. If you think back to July, when Keir Starmer met with Emmanuel Macron, he was talking about a one-in, one-out system, and those who would be brought from asylum centres to this country would be properly vetted. Well, it appears that people are, the Home Office, the whistleblower they've spoken to is doing the vetting. They're actually discovering that in some cases people have convictions for offences, criminal offences, and they are still being granted the right to claim asylum in this country. And just 2 points on that statement that you read out from the Ministry of Justice just a few moments ago. Firstly, it took 6 days for the Ministry of Justice to tell the Metropolitan Police they needed to go and find this individual who escaped from, who was released accidentally in error from HMP Wandsworth. That is completely unacceptable. And then they sent in David Lammy, knowing that he was going to be filling in for Keir Starmer at the dispatch box yesterday, to PMQs, to answer questions from James Cartledge, the Shadow Defence Secretary, about this individual, to ask to provide reassurances that nobody else had been released in error, which he couldn't do because he knew that there was something afoot. He knew his officials were investigating the release of another prisoner wrongly. But of course, he hadn't been given the right details, or he hadn't at least been given some details which the department knew to be correct. It's incompetence at its worst.
It's a complete breakdown in miscommunication, isn't it? I mean, what's so alarming about this case, about the Algerian prisoner who's been wrongly released, is that they wouldn't have even noticed. It was only for the fact that he was meant to be in court on Tuesday and then didn't show up that officials actually raised the alarm.
Yeah, and
that was 6 days later.
But you would have. It beggars belief that they don't seem to have a grip on this problem. And to take you back to when Hadash Gabatu, who of course was the migrant from Epping, was wrongly released and then was tracked down 48 hours later, the public received assurances from the government then, including from David Lammy then, that new checks were going to be introduced to ensure that this did not happen again. Now, we're not expecting the system, I don't think anybody would expect the system to be perfect immediately, but you would expect that an individual like this wouldn't be released so soon after what had happened, and it appears that the problem is just rife.
Yeah, I mean, this is... And it's no good talking about inherited issues, as they do in the statement. So, you know, there are inherited issues in all of this, whether it's people being released early, whether it's problem with processing asylum claims or all the rest of it. They've been in power for more than a year now. You've got to start owning it, haven't you?
Yeah, of course. And let's just remember the inherited issues that they complained that the Labour, and I think they had a legitimate reason to complain about this at the time, was nothing to do with... was not to do with the, the administration of whether, when and where prisoners are released. It was to do with the fact that the prison system was at absolute capacity. That was the inherited issue. Labour have been in power, and I think you raise for going on 18 months now, not quite 18 months, but they've been in power for coming up to 18 months. And they need to... there comes a point where there's a sort of cut-off where you don't get to say anymore, it's the last lot. And I think we're kind of there.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would agree with you, Theo. Thank you very much.
Well, a Home Office spokesperson has said we take all allegations seriously. We're committed to addressing any concerns appropriately. However, we don't accept the characterisations from this whistleblower as presented.
Well, the integrity of the UK immigration system is paramount, and we operate within a robust framework of safeguards and quality assurance measures to ensure that all claims are thoroughly assessed, decisions are well-founded, and protection is granted only to those who meet the established criteria.
We are changing the law, so individuals convicted of sexual offences cannot be granted asylum in the UK.
Let us know what you think on that one. gbnews.com/you'll-say.
Now, Prince William has hosted his 5th Earthshot Prize Awards ceremony in Brazil last night.
Well, 5 winners received a £1 million grant for their climate action projects.
Earlier in the day, William followed in the footsteps of his mother, Diana, Princess of Wales, posing for a picture in front of Christ the Redeemer.
Well, our royal correspondent Cameron Walker has sent us this report from Rio.
Same spot, 3 decades on. A moment of reflection for Prince William, standing where his mother did, taking in the view from Christ the Redeemer. He was there to meet this year's cohort of Earthshot Prize finalists, including Matter, a small British business who's landed a major deal with IKEA to install its microplastic filters across its global network. For Prince William, it's about urgent optimism. He thinks the doom and gloom approach doesn't work.
You have to provide a leadership and a vision that there's good things to come and that it's not all negative. And for my children particularly, knowing that the planet's going to be in a healthier, better state because of the brilliant people in this room is something that I love to tell them, when they go to bed. It's like, it's going to be great. Your future is going to be as bright as future's gone by. And that's a really important message for all of us to hear.
Well, this is the Prince of Wales' 5th annual Earthshot Prize, and yet again it has the glitz, it has the glamour, it has the celebrities, but what it also has is the solutions, and that is a challenge for Prince William and the Earthshot Prize, making sure that those solutions are a success so they can scale up and actually make an impact.
But I won't let it turn into
Iconic performances from Kylie Minogue and Canadian singer Shawn Mendes wowed guests as the winners were announced.
Vai para todo mundo de pé para ela. Lagos Fashion Week!
Even our own politicians turned up to see our future king's approach to leadership. William's approval rating is almost 3 times the Prime Minister's, according to YouGov. But former Prime Minister of New Zealand, Jacinda Ardern, told us lawmakers can only go so far.
Politicians are setting the rules of the game. They can speed the game up, they can slow the game down, but they are not the only players on the field. The Earthshot Prize finalists are examples of players who are putting their all into the preservation of our planet and climate action.
For William, the real stars were his Earthshot finalists, 5 of which won £1 million each to scale up their solutions to repair the planet. It's a mammoth challenge William set himself, but he seems determined.
I understand that some might feel discouraged in these uncertain times. I understand that there is still so much to be done. But this is no time for complacency, and the optimism I felt in 2020 remains ardent today.
Today, the Prince will travel to Belém, near the Amazon rainforest, for the COP30 climate conference, representing his father as future king of 15 realms. Cameron Walker, GB News in Rio de Janeiro.
I mean, I don't want to knock it. I don't want to knock it. No, but I can't help. Whenever we watch stuff like that, and yeah, these are great people coming up with sensible ideas. Good, sensible ideas. That washing machine thing, the UK entry, very good. But they've all been jetted in to Rio,
issue, isn't it? Yeah.
including jetting in Shawn Mendes and Kylie Minogue and all the rest of it, and plus RPM and... I mean, how much...
And Sadiq Khan. Sadiq Khan's there.
Oh, is he?
Mm-hmm. All jetted into the climate conference.
So how much fuel did that use?
I know.
For a climate conference? And then they're all heading off to COP30. It's even more fuel.
Yeah.
I mean, for all these environmentalists,
I don't know if history will look too kindly on people that jet into climate conferences.
I don't really know. I mean, I don't know how you get around it. We haven't got electric-powered planes. But you could zoom it all, couldn't you? And save several thousand tonnes of carbon. Maybe I'm being cynical. Let us know what you think.
I think, on the plus side, Prince William's doing a wonderful job.
Yes.
Isn't he? And I think on a personal level, I think it's probably been a very emotional trip for him, being in Rio.
Yeah.
Same place as Princess Diana.
Yeah, no,
and apparently
I agree.
a lot of people are coming up to him in Rio de Janeiro and talking about his mother's trip and how much that meant to them at the time. So I think it's been a really nice trip for him, actually.
I don't want to knock him. But...
I think he does a very good job on the
seems
world
like
stage for us.
One rule for them, another rule for us, isn't it?
Let's know what you think.
All right, let's have a look at the weather. Here's Annie.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning. Welcome to your latest GB News weather update brought to you from the Met Office. It's going to be another very mild day for the time of year. A drier day for many, particularly across western areas, and possibly even a few glimmers of sunshine. It's still fairly cloudy start out there, though. Much of that cloud will lift as the day goes on, but the sunshine and the cloud will come and go through the day, as will the rain too. There's a risk of showers across eastern areas first thing this morning, and then into this afternoon, a few showers possibly across parts of Wales, southwestern England, and moving into southern areas of Scotland too. But wherever you are, it's going to be another very mild day. We've still got those southerly winds, and in any sunshine we could reach 17 or 18 degrees. Into this evening then, it's still looking relatively dry for most of us. Quite a pleasant day to come for northern areas of Scotland, and it will stay relatively fine into this evening as well. Looking further west though, the cloud will roll in once again with a few showers around across western areas of Scotland, northwestern England as well, but Northern Ireland looking relatively dry. Further south across parts of the Midlands, a clear evening, but there is a risk of a few showers as we head into tonight, and the cloud's going to continue to come and go, but wherever you are, still staying very mild overnight tonight with those southerly winds dragging in plenty of mild air as well as the cloud. A few showers here and there. They should move through pretty quickly though if you do get caught with a shower on Thursday evening, and a relatively mild start to the day, a degree or so lower than this morning, but still pretty mild for the time of year. And it's going to be quite a fine day across eastern areas in particular on Friday once that cloud lifts through the morning. Still a few sunny spells across eastern areas of England, northern areas of Scotland as well, but looking further south and west, we've got the next batch of rain moving in. This could turn fairly heavy at times, as well as bringing some gustier winds and temperatures much closer to average in the low teens. Have a great day. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Now, do stay with us. Still to come, poor productivity in the NHS is costing the economy up to £20 billion every single year. Is this evidence that the NHS isn't working? We're going to be debating that next.
Bold. They are under no illusion. Ray. Are you a human trafficker? Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get this on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines. The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it? From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos. What I'm going to do now, they are throwing things out the car as we speak. Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact that Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints. How many fingers have I got up? About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There, you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
It's 7:27, and it's never too early to think about the festive season, of course. Well, actually, it is. Do you know my sister-in-law?
Oh, OK.
Here we go. I'm going to show you now.
Here we go. Buckle up. Yep.
She sent us pictures of her putting up the Christmas tree and the Christmas decks
No.
on the 1st of November.
No.
It's too soon.
Far too soon.
Too soon.
Now, I would say the last weekend of November onwards is acceptable.
Yes.
And even that's pushing it, maybe 1st of December.
Sorry, Lindsay.
What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think so. Well, we get our tree the last weekend of November.
I think that's a nice time.
And let's hope you haven't started already, because actually, if you've just wait a couple more weeks, you could have your Christmas on us this year.
This is a whopper, actually, isn't it? 40 grand in tax-free cash, but that's not it. £1,000 to spend on Christmas lunch. Imagine how much food you can get for £1,000.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
It'd keep you going for a long time.
And the best part is...
It's not the best part.
Well...
I mean, come on, would you like to swap all the money for this? Sorry, I'll get told off.
A GB News goodie bag.
Christmas-themed, which means we put a bauble in it.
Do you remember when we modelled the baubles last year?
We did model the bauble last year.
I don't think they went anywhere, those pictures, which is a shame. But anyway, you can get all of this in time for the big day. Here are all the details you need.
We're giving you the chance to win your entire Christmas this year paid for by us. First, we'll give you an incredible £30,000 in tax-free cash so you can have a brilliant new year. Then we'll give you a further £10,000 cash to spend on all your Christmas presents, the decorations, even the tree. Christmas lunch, that's on us too, with £1,000 in shopping vouchers to spend at your favourite supermarket. Finally, a GB News Christmas goodie bag. And the best news? You'll get it all in time for the big day. For a chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB17 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 28th of November. The winner may be contacted live on GB News, week commencing the 8th of December. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Be convinced. Oh, sorry, we're talking about hot water taps. Because you remember at the top of the hour, we were talking about how Gen Zs are shunning kettles because they want hot water taps instead. We have Reem Ibrahim in the studio with us,
morning.
who is our resident Gen Z this morning. So I said, oh, how do you feel about kettles? And you've said...
I can't be convinced. There's something a bit weird about it.
You don't trust a hot water tap.
I don't know why. I think this is one of those things where when you don't know enough about something, your instant reaction is just to fear it. And I'm just worried that you get lime scale all up in the tubes, or I don't know.
You fear hot water taps, Reem.
So
your credibility's just gone out the window.
You're old school, you like a kettle.
Fair. Anyway, we're talking about the NHS.
Yes.
Because there's been a slump in productivity since COVID. Now, how they work this out is if we'd maintained the same levels of productivity that we were having pre-COVID, now we'd be £20 billion a year better off.
But we're asking this morning, is it evidence that the NHS is broken beyond repair? Is it a failed project, or can the Health Secretary, Wes Streeting, find a fix like he says he can?
So, as you know, Reem Ibrahim from the Institute of Economic Affairs is with us, alongside GP and health commentator Dr Basha Mukherjee. Good to see you both this morning. Basha, what do you think? As someone who works within the system, is it broken?
I think it definitely needs reform, and this is what Wes Streeting was talking about before he came into his seat, essentially. But the reform needs to take time, and it does need to be spoken about to the audience and to the public that we have an ageing population. We have multiple things that are getting more difficult for the NHS to deal with, including complexity of healthcare. And we need to be honest with the public that this is not going to just turn around overnight, and we can see the economic side of things as well. As a country, we're very, the progress is very slow there, so this isn't going to be an easy overnight fix.
But it's one thing to improve the NHS. It's another thing when a lack of productivity is making it worse in terms of this money that we're losing.
Well, we have to think about what are the factors that contributed to this lack of productivity. Sickness of staff has gone up. The staff morale is at a rock bottom. We've had strikes. We've had nursing strikes, doctor strikes. And the strikes have just sort of kept going. It's not been resolved by, well, the Conservative government, and now we're seeing that again with the Labour government. And this sets a really bad precedent for the staff. They lose faith in work. The ones that are at work, they feel disillusioned. They don't feel valued. And the other ones, they're trying to leave. They've got one foot out of the door. So of course they wouldn't be as productive when they've got this mindset.
Reem?
We spend more money on the NHS than we ever have done, and yet we have some of the worst healthcare outcomes in all of Western Europe. In the year before the pandemic, we saw that the United Kingdom had the second highest avoidable mortality rates in all of Western Europe. When we look at cancer survival rates, when we look at various different other healthcare outcomes, the NHS performs abysmally. But this isn't just something that's happened recently. This idea that the NHS used to be this wonderful sacred cow and is now all of a sudden unfunded is is simply untrue. The NHS has never been something to be proud of, and quite frankly, I think anybody that defends the socialist bureaucratic black hole in which we are forced to continuously funnel taxpayer money into is mistaken. Let's look at other European countries that have much better healthcare outcomes. Let's look at countries like the Netherlands. Let's look at Switzerland, which have competitive market systems where patients get to choose and doctors and nurses are often paid a lot more. There are much better working conditions. Patients deserve choice. The NHS is basically the last relic of the Soviet Union and would be very, very good to get rid of it.
I agree on many fronts on that, actually, and that, first and foremost, when you actually ask the patients if they would pay for it, this is the difference, isn't it? That it's free at the point of care, and majority of patients don't even have an idea of how much it costs to actually do a simple blood test if they had to pay for it. And we still have a mentality, and we've had a recent introduction of these online forms, for instance, where patients can send in a request to their GP about the simplest thing, the most banal things that they can think of, and they don't take into account that takes time for someone who's getting paid by the hour, essentially, to go through those forms. So I think there really needs to be an honest discussion with patients about just how much things cost, and if there probably should be a small cost for use.
Well, I think that's really encouraging, I think, to hear people within the health service talking about this very honestly, because quite frankly, 5 years ago, if I sat on this show and said that the NHS needs genuine reform and actually we should think about the cost of it, I would be thrown out and told that was too taboo to talk about. So I think it's really interesting that the public has moved with this. People are now starting to realise that the NHS is not the sacred cow that is venerated, that is the envy of the world. Quite frankly, it is the opposite. I think what we need to be thinking about is how other countries do things much better. A competitive market system where you do have insurance, but it means that the government are able to require a statutory minimum package. Nobody goes without healthcare. It isn't the case that if you are poorer and you have a heart attack, they get the card machine out and you can't pay, so they don't help you. That doesn't happen in any country, including America, and it certainly wouldn't happen in this country. What would happen is that for those particular instances where you do need to use the health service, or you do need to go and see a doctor, you're able to choose between different providers. That is what the majority of European countries do, and they end up spending about the same or even less than we do on healthcare overall. But a lot of that money goes into long-term capital expenditure. We're talking about technology that makes the NHS a lot more efficient.
I just wonder, Basha, as a last thought, I mean, that all sounds very positive, but I don't know the ins and outs of it. But the NHS is so vast. How do you even begin to reform something which is so huge?
I completely agree. When it comes to even changing over from one computer to another, IT systems. We recently, in my own career lifetime, let's just say, we had electronic prescriptions come in, and also electronic notes. You would think that this, we were living in the 21st century, we would have moved much sooner to electronic notes, but that transfer took weeks, and there's so many, levels to it. There are staff. We don't even have continuity of staff. There's new staff coming in every day. Patients get the brunt of that as well. And that also means that any new things introduced, you're more or less having to duplicate that work to retrain staff every time, because they either leave to go to private to other countries. You're having to import staff from other countries for cheaper. So it's a multifold problem, really, that needs a long time and a lot of money.
There is a way. There are steps we can take.
Well, we can explore those another time, because sadly we're out of time, you two.
Reem, Basha, thank you very much.
Thank
Very
you.
good to see you both this morning. Let us know what you think on that one. gbnews.com/you'll-say.
Interesting. Now, still to come, we've got the sport. Man City's unstoppable striker breaks another record. We'll tell you more with Marcus in a moment.
Thank you so much for helping us to reach 8 million followers and subscribers across our social media channels. That's 8 million fearless Brits standing up for what really matters.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. Starting with the M25, a broken down vehicle has caused the closure of one of 4 lanes at junction 22. The road is expected to clear soon. Meanwhile, in Surrey, there has been a road traffic collision on the M25 anti-clockwise between junction 9 and junction 8. As a result, one lane is closed, leading to delays in the area. No clear time frame for resolution yet. And on the trains, London North Western Railway reports no trains between Watford Junction and St Albans Abbey, and the Gatwick Express London Underground station at London Victoria is closed. Stay up to date at gbnews.com for more travel news.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it? Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Kerr weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints. How many fingers have I got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. It's sports time. Marcus is here with us. Morning.
Good morning, everybody. Yeah, let's start with a man who cannot stop scoring goals. Erling Haaland now has 27 for club and country this season, and he broke another record in the Champions League last night. He has now scored in 5 consecutive Champions League games for 3 different clubs. He did it with Salzburg, he did it with Borussia Dortmund, and he's now done it with Manchester City, coincidentally, against Borussia Dortmund last night. I mean, he's extraordinary, and I think he's only going to get better. He's still a young man.
Still a very young man, isn't he?
He is. So, City going great guns. They won 4-1 against Borussia Dortmund. Chelsea, and I know we've got a lot of Chelsea fans knocking about the place, held by the Azerbaijani champions Karabakh, who've never beaten an English team, came close last night. They were leading 2-1. At one stage. That match finished 2-2, and Newcastle won again. They're a pretty formidable unit at home. They won by 2-0. We've got lots of Europa League and Conference League action tonight. But I want to go back to the battle of the sexes tennis, because I know Stephen's not happy about the modifications on the court, but I get the general impression...
Even I could win if my side of the court was half the size of the other one.
Not with,
but you wouldn't be built the same as your opponent, would you? You'd be weaker. Oh, we're going to have to disagree on this
I think, with all due respect, I don't think you would win, Stephen. But I do think it makes it fascinating. And Aryna Sabalenka, she is the world #1, of course. She's going to play against Nick Kyrgios, the 2022 Wimbledon finalist in this.
But she's world #1. He's ranked 652.
He is, but he's had a lot of trouble with his wrist.
It's injuries.
He's had a lot of injury problems. He's still hoping to come back for the Australian Open at the start of next year. So he's got a great opportunity to show what he can do. But the other important factor that they've weighed into, well, they weighed into the fact that women move 9% slower than men, which is why Sabalenka's court is 9% smaller, and it's one serve each because the Kyrgios serve, obviously, at 143 miles an hour is pretty useful. But she served at 133 miles an hour. So I do think this is going to be a fascinating battle.
I think it'll be great. When is it again?
It's on December the 28th.
December the 28th.
Dubai. And with a tennis link, I've got some birthdays for you to try and guess today. And we start with Anna Ivanovic, one of my favourites. I did once ask her out.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did she say yes?
No.
Oh.
She's
not that daft.
She made her excuses.
Oh, no.
She made her excuses and disappeared. But she was the world #1 in 2008. She won the
she's
French
very pretty.
Open. I mean, yeah, you can't blame me for having having
for trying.
Go. Having a go. She was absolutely charming.
How old were you at the time, Marcus?
Older than her.
Oh.
But the big question: how old is she today?
You dirty dog.
Well, I'm not that much older.
Because she looks about 17 in that picture.
Yeah.
Yes, that was a few years ago.
OK, so I'm going to put her at...
So bear in mind, she was at her peak in 2008. She retired at around about 2016.
I'm hoping for your sake she's 47, Marcus.
37.
Oh, that's a great effort. She is actually 38.
Ah!
OK.
Very close.
Now, Sally Field, we've got, not a great day for... Let's forget about the age.
We probably shouldn't have started that story.
No, we shouldn't have started that. We've got 2 Academy Award winners. Sally Field, who likes her tennis, by the way.
I like her.
How old is she today?
58.
I think she's 71.
She's 79. And finally...
79?
Yeah, poor guesses from both of you.
I lowballed that.
Finally, very quickly, Emma Stone. And the connection here is that Emma Stone played Billie Jean King in the Battle of the Sexes a few years ago.
Oh, yeah.
What birthday is she celebrating
54.
Today?
33. 54?
Honestly, you guys. 54?
33.
I think she might instigate legal action against you. She's 37 today.
Ah, bless her.
Oh, there you go.
I like her as well.
You did very, very badly.
Thanks, Marcus.
Thank you very much indeed. Still to come, the manhunt for 2 prisoners who escaped from HMP Wandsworth. We'll get more details from Tim and Freddie because it's in the papers.
Before all of that, let's get a check on the European weather.
Can't wait to get in that sea.
Lovely and warm.
Just like the feeling of having great travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello, we've got some wet weather moving into Portugal through Friday, showers across the Mediterranean, but if you're heading away on the weekend, it is looking much drier across parts of the Med. In the Canaries, plenty of dry and sunny weather. That wet weather spreading into parts of Portugal and through the Mediterranean. We've got an area of low pressure bringing wet weather towards Italy as well as further east as well. But as I said, into the weekend, it is looking much drier with plenty of sunshine and temperatures in the mid-20s in Tenerife.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, you didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
They do say, Oggy, that we are what we eat. Just, looking up and down. But anyway, I mean, during your sporting career, when you was a cricketer, you'd have been a lot slimmer, eating different food probably, a different regime. Tell us about
that. To be fair, wasn't eating a lot of different food, but I was active. I went into the gym, I was on a cricket pitch 5 days out, and you burned the food off, so you didn't have to really watch what you ate. And for the last 12 years, I've been putting things in and not burning them off.
OK, yeah, it's time to take that. But you're a Yorkshireman. And you play cricket for Yorkshire. It's a great honour for a Yorkshireman, isn't it, to play cricket for his
Massively,
county?
yeah.
Because back in the day, you had to be born in Yorkshire, didn't you, to actually play for Yorkshire?
Yeah, I was born back in Yorkshire. My mum and dad were in Pelsall. We moved back into Yorkshire, so I was born in the county, so I was allowed to play for it. But I was a late bloomer. 18, I wasn't playing for the academy, and I got a Yorkshire contract late on. And it just went really, really quickly.
So how does it work? A lot of young people playing these sports at school and that, they played probably football, rugby, and cricket, weren't there? Was that you?
Yeah, so at school, I went to a comprehensive school that had a choice of football or football.
Yeah.
Wasn't my favourite sport, but I wanted to play sport, so I played football for school, and then in the winter I played rugby for my local rugby club, and then cricket for my local cricket club in the summer.
So when did it really start for you at cricket then? So when did that penny drop that you wanted to be a cricketer?
A big piece of luck. Phil Carrick came into Pudsey Kongs, who was an ex-Yorkshire captain, saw me playing third team and put me in the first team. And so I was 17,
Why did he do
18.
that?
He saw something in me. I don't know, because everybody else had overlooked me. I think it's because I swung the ball away.
GB News, the People's Channel.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
"7:49, let's have a quick look through the papers with the presenter and broadcaster Tim Vincent and Deputy Editor of The Spectator, Freddie Gray. Morning.
Good morning.
Morning. What are we starting with?
Should we start with this manhunt in Wandsworth that is continuing? Freddie, in front us on the front pages of many of the papers today.
Yes, well, it's a chap called William Smith, goes by the name of Billy.
Yeah.
Sentenced to 45 months for multiple frauds, and it's similar to the story we talked about on last hour. It's another justice release screw-up. They have let go of somebody that should be in jail, and I think what's odd about this is it was Wandsworth again. This seems to happen a bit at HMP with Wandsworth. And one of the most extraordinary things about this story is how often there are mistakes, bureaucratic mistakes in the prison system, and somebody who's not meant to be released is just released. And David Lammy, who's supposed to have a handle on this, does not have a handle on it. And I think this is going to be one of the themes of the coming days. It's just the Justice Department is, the Ministry for Justice, I should say, is struggling to cope with the prison system. And Charlie Taylor, who's Chief Inspector of Prisons, has been complaining about this for some time, saying we've got really big problems here, and he's been trying to raise the alarm about it. And it's not just a Labour problem, the Tories did it too. We've just let the prisons problems fester.
Tim, can we have a look at this in the Telegraph? It had to happen, I suppose. Keir Starmer, his effigy was a Guy Fawkes.
I have it here.
Last night.
There we go. It's a rather good one, I think, actually, isn't it? I don't know if you can see that one.
Creative.
Very
Starmer
creative.
the farmer harmer.
Yeah. Do you want to explain it for people who are...
Yeah, it's 11 metres tall, 36 feet for old school. Each year, Edenbridge Bonfire Society in Kent creates a celebrity figure to burn alongside Guy Fawkes on Bonfire Night. Previous Guys include Boris Johnson and Donald Trump, and this year it is Keir, and they've had a real dig at him. He's got a list of things that he's already reneged on or backed down on promises that were made in, and it's a bit of fun, and probably we won't be able to do it again next year because there'll be some health and safety issues about it, or no fireworks. But yeah, poor Keir doesn't seem to be having much luck at the moment on any front.
He's not.
And he was voted, and he beat is the wrong word because it's not a successful thing. Andrew Tate,
right?
Andrew, the former prince.
Right.
There was some other deeply unpopular figure that he was more unpopular than.
Oh dear. Well, apparently this Edenbridge in Kent, lots of farmers living there, so so Keir Starmer is not
the farmer harmer.
Not particularly popular in those parts.
Good.
Why is it isn't Rachel Reeves?
Let the effigy burn, I say.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Can we just finish off, just down to the last sort of minute or so, on this is in the Times, Tim.
Yeah.
We all have our beloved animals, and it's always really sad when they go. I don't know that I would want to clone
dogs, though. I completely...
No.
I completely agree, but it's a huge industry. They fixated on Tom Brady, obviously a very famous American football player, retired now in America. He has a dog, and he's revealed that Junie can trace her pedigree to a laboratory. She's clone of Alua, a pit bull mix that died a couple of years ago. The industry is huge. It costs around £40,000, and there's actually even a company in Shropshire. In this country, apparently, you are not allowed to clone your pets as of yet because of regulations, but they can take all the information they need from your animal if it's poorly for now, store it, and this place in Shropshire already has over 6,000 DNA samples, not just cats and dogs but rare species as well. One of these companies that's in the States, which I think Brady's actually invested in, so that's one of the reasons this story's come out, is aiming to de-extinct the mammoth and the dodo.
Oh, well, there you go.
Best of luck to them.
Right, you two. Thank you very much indeed.
And do stay with us. We're going to be getting the latest on the manhunt for 2 prisoners who were mistakenly released from HMP Wandsworth, where Will Godley is there for us now.
Yeah, 24-year-old Algerian sex offender and a 35-year-old British fraudster released accidentally from here, and that double manhunt underway. I'll have the latest after your weather for this Thursday morning.
Today, clouds overhead, total zen within. Boxed Solar sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, welcome to your latest GB News weather update brought to you from the Met Office. It's going to be another very mild day for the time of year. A drier day for many, particularly across western areas, and possibly even a few glimmers of sunshine. It's still fairly cloudy start out there though. Much of that cloud will lift as the day goes on, but the sunshine and the cloud will come and go through the day, as will the rain too. There's a risk of showers across eastern areas first thing this morning, and then into this afternoon, a few showers possibly across parts of Wales, southwestern England, and moving into southern areas of Scotland too. But wherever you are, it's going to be another very mild day. We've still got those southerly winds, and in any sunshine we could reach 17 or 18 degrees. Into this evening then, it's still looking relatively dry for most of us. Quite a pleasant day to come for northern areas of Scotland, and it will stay relatively fine into this evening as well. Looking further west though, the cloud will roll in once again with a few showers around across western areas of Scotland, northwestern England as well, but Northern Ireland looking relatively dry. Further south across parts of the Midlands, a clear evening, but there is a risk of a few showers as we head into tonight, and the cloud's going to continue to come and go, but wherever you are, still staying very mild overnight tonight with those southerly winds dragging in plenty of mild air as well as the cloud. A few showers here and there. They should move through pretty quickly though if you do get caught with a shower on Thursday evening, and a relatively mild start to the day, a degree or so lower than this morning, but still pretty mild for the time of year. And it's going to be quite a fine day across eastern areas in particular on Friday once that cloud lifts through the morning. Still a few sunny spells across eastern areas of England, northern areas of Scotland as well, but looking further south and west, we've got the next batch of rain moving in. This could turn fairly heavy at times, as well as bringing some gustier winds and temperatures much closer to average in the low teens. Have a great day. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Today, clouds overhead, total zen within. Boxed Solar sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for making us the fastest growing news website in the UK. We're truly humbled, and we couldn't have done it without you.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. In Kent, there is a road traffic incident on the M25 anti-clockwise between Junction 2 and Junction 1A. There is one of 4 lanes closed with normal traffic conditions expected between 9:15 and 9:30 this morning. Stockton-on-Tees has disruptions as one of 2 lanes is closed on the A19 southbound entry slip from the A1027 due to road management. On the trains, the London North Western Railway has no trains between Watford Junction and St Albans Abbey. Additionally, Northern Lines have buses replacing trains between Corkickle and Whitehaven, with disruption between Doncaster and Gilberdike. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
We could be delivering the perfect Christmas to you this year. There's £30,000 in tax-free cash to make 2026 the best year yet. A further £10,000 cash to spend on gifts for all the family. There's £1,000 to spend in your favourite supermarket. And a festively themed GB News goodie bag. And we'll get it all to you in time for the big day. For a chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB 17 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 28th of November. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off-limits. You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it. That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless. But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show. Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Good morning. A manhunt is underway for 2 prisoners mistakenly released from HMP Wandsworth,
including an Algerian sex offender who was in the early stages of being deported.
It's been revealed the prison service failed to realise he was missing for 6 days. Is this a sign that Britain's prisons are not fit for purpose?
Yet more questions for the Justice Secretary David Lammy to answer after these latest releases happened just days after he introduced the toughest release checks on prisons to date.
A Home Office whistleblower claims that staff are being pressured into approving asylum cases, even when the person in question has been charged with sex crimes.
Prince William hails climate innovators as the world's true action heroes as he hosts the Earthshot Prize in Rio.
For my children particularly, knowing that the planet's going to be in a healthier, better state because of the brilliant people in this room is something that I love to tell them, you know, when they go to bed. It's like, it's going to be great. Your future is going to be as bright as futures gone by.
The Prime Minister joins Prince William in Rio ahead of the COP30 climate summit in the Amazon.
A Celebrity Traitors concludes tonight. 5 finalists going head-to-head. As tension builds, here's one of the standout moments from the series.
Don't laugh at
Oh, God. I feel sick.
Erling Haaland's 27th goal of a standout season for club and country helped Manchester City to a 4-1 win over Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League. Newcastle beat Athletic Club 2-0. Chelsea were held to a 2-2 draw at Qarabag. And will a specifically designed tennis court and a limit of 1 serve per player help world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka beat Nick Kyrgios in next month's Battle of the Sexes?
Good morning. It's going to be another mild day wherever you are, and some of us could see some sunshine. Find out all the details with me a little later on.
It's just gone 8 o'clock. I'm Stephen Dixon.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast. Now, if ever you're worried that you're not doing very well at work, or perhaps you don't feel like you're doing your best...
We shan't told you that now.
And you worry about, you know, not being up to speed on things, well, just don't worry.
You can see into my mind.
It turns out that the investigation into the Louvre heist has found out that the password to access the security cameras at the Louvre was, in fact, Louvre.
No.
Yes. Truly.
No.
Honestly. Yep, that was their security password. Yep, £76 million worth of jewels, as you remember, was stolen from the Louvre last month. The password for the museum video surveillance system was, in caps, Louvre.
Oh. But I think we're all guilty. Are we all guilty of having passwords that are too easy to identify?
You can't do it now, can you? You put a password in and they say, oh, no, you need to add another 15,000 characters.
Yeah, and your uppercase and your lowercase. So, yeah, you might have expected the museum that was holding some of the most priceless jewels in the world to have slightly better security. But it turns out it doesn't.
Talk about people being on alert for precious stones being stolen, as in the Louvre. The fever has got so bad, people are so worried about it, there's now extra security at Stonehenge.
What, they think they can steal?
Because of those precious stones.
Well, they are precious stones.
Well, they are
a different kind of form, and I'd say probably more difficult to steal.
They are very, very precious stones, but they do weigh about 25 tonnes.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to make off with those in 7 minutes.
But no, so there's volunteers at Stonehenge who've been put on alert following the Louvre gem heist.
Stone the crows.
Oh, God.
He can't help himself. He can't help himself.
Honestly,
of
all the things to worry about. Anyway. Should we crack on?
I think we should.
Because a double manhunt is underway after 2 inmates were wrongly released from HMP Wandsworth, including a convicted sex offender who was due to be deported.
Yes, 24-year-old Algerian national Brahim Kaddour Sharif was freed 6 days ago, but police only learned of the blunder this week.
Meanwhile, Surrey police are also hunting, you see on the left of your screen there, Billy Smith, released in error on Monday. He has links to the Woking area.
Well, we'll cross live now to HMP Wandsworth, where GB News national reporter Will Godley is for us. Good morning to us, Will. What's the latest?
Ellie, Stephen, good morning from the prison here. HMP Wandsworth, of course, under special measures. It has been for the last year, but residents here still shocked and upset that 2 prisoners who should be behind bars now on the streets of Britain. Let me remind you who they are. Of course, 24-year-old Algerian convicted sex offender Brahim Kaddour Sharif. The Metropolitan Police urgently looking for him after they were told 6 days after he was accidentally released that he is out of prison. He's known to have ties to the Tower Hamlets area and Westminster area of London. But it's not just him that police are looking for. After news emerged yesterday that Surrey police are also looking for a second prisoner accidentally released on Monday. This time it's William Billy Smith. He was sentenced on Monday to nearly 4 years in prison for fraud offences. Surrey police say he's known in the Woking area. He was last seen in a blue tracksuit and they are looking for him. Both manhunts remain active and police asking for anyone with information to call 999.
OK, Will, thank you very much for that update.
All right, let's talk to the Shadow Justice Secretary, Robert Jenrick. Good morning to you. What do you make of all of this?
Good morning.
Because, I mean, it seems absolutely crazy.
Well, look, yesterday it would have been more appropriate if David Lammy, the Justice Secretary, had turned up to Parliament wearing a bright red nose and a big pair of clown shoes than having to nick a poppy off a veteran sat behind him in the House of Commons. This is a total and utter shambles. You've got, for the second time, no, the third time now, in 2 weeks, convicted criminals being let out of our prisons accidentally. And now you've got the Metropolitan Police and Surrey Police having to waste precious resources on manhunts because of massive failures by David Lammy and the Ministry of Justice.
Unfortunately, though, this is nothing new, is it? I mean, it was happening under your government. I mean, you hear this government say that, don't you? I mean, back in 2022, 54 prisoners were released in error. 2023, 71 prisoners were released in error. 2024, 87 prisoners released in error. More and more every year. So this is nothing new, and this was happening under your watch too.
No, this is a new issue. Look, don't get me wrong. Every single criminal who is released accidentally out of our prisons is unacceptable. I don't want to see a single criminal released in this way. But something is going badly wrong, that the numbers are rising dramatically. Over the last 10 years, it's averaged about 50 criminals being released from our prisons every year. Last year, 262. It was a 130% increase in a single year. So this has been a bad issue for a long time, but it's got much, much worse under this Labour government. Why? Well, I don't have all the answers, but it seems to me that the Labour government's decision to create this early release scheme, this get out of jail free card for criminals, which has been poorly planned, disastrously executed, has led to a massive failure within the system, so that criminals are now being released left, right and centre when they should never have been. And what we've got to do now is get a grip on this. I want to see David Lammy come forward and reassure us that there are checks being put in place that will ensure this doesn't happen. Because we can't have dangerous sex offenders on the streets of our country and the police having to rally around trying to find them. This man has got to be found and he's got to be deported as quickly as possible and the root cause of the problem addressed. So we don't wake up tomorrow and find that it's happened somewhere else at another prison and there's another dangerous sex offender out on the streets of someone's community.
Well, you talk about sex offenders being released and I mean, these two from the last couple of weeks who are due to be deported, which sort of adds more salt into the wound, if you like. But we're also hearing, it's in the Telegraph, I think, this morning, about this Home Office whistleblower saying we're allowing sex offenders to claim asylum in this country.
Yeah, look, it's completely insane. We should never be allowing this to happen. My view is very clear. If you come here illegally, you should never be able to claim asylum at all. And every single person who breaks into our country on a small boat or the back of a lorry or whatever should be detained and deported. And we should get rid of all of those human rights laws that have created the merry-go-round of fake claims that we've seen in recent years. Leave the European Convention on Human Rights, you name it. Fix this problem once and for all. That's why I resigned from the last Conservative government, because I was sick to my back teeth of politicians making promises, stop the boat, smash the gangs, and not keeping them. We can't allow this to continue because it's having such serious consequences for the British people. The pressure on public services, the billions of pounds that's being wasted, the hotels that are wrecking communities, and even more seriously, the crimes that are now being committed by some of these people who've come here illegally. Just look at the testimony we heard this week from the family and the victim in Epping. It's absolutely heartbreaking.
But forgive me, I mean, it's one thing to say, I mean, look, you're in a better position than most in the Shadow Cabinet because you did resign over this very issue when you were Immigration Minister. However, if the last government couldn't actually deliver when it comes to this issue, and if the current government can't deliver, what makes you think that a Conservative government under Kemi Badenoch can deliver on this difficult issue? What's changed?
Well, look, I think we have to be painfully honest about the mistakes that were made. It is why I resigned, because I wasn't willing to be a party to it. The Conservative Party's got to show that it's changed. It will never be a party of open borders again. We've set out policies now which are much, much tougher. The things I've been advocating for years, like leaving the ECHR, like detaining and deporting absolutely everyone who comes here, like a legally binding cap set by Parliament on legal migration and setting that as low as possible. Well, I'm advocating, as is the Conservative Party, for net emigration, which means more people leave every year than come in, so we can give the country breathing space. This is what we need to finally get a grip on these challenges.
This whistleblower is also talking about incentives being offered to Home Office staff for approval rates. So there's this pressure, obviously, to ease the asylum backlog, which means that people are being fast-tracked with very little scrutiny. So how do we balance wanting to clear the asylum backlog, which we all want to happen, without waving through potentially dangerous people?
Well, look, the system has been very inefficient, so it's right that you put in place the normal management processes that you'd expect for it to be well run. But the heart of this issue is you shouldn't be claiming asylum at all if you've broken into the country illegally. So look, you can debate how you make the system work, you know, in a more efficient manner, how you house people, is it in hotels, is it in HMOs at the end of your street, or you can get to the nub of the issue, which is that if you come here illegally, you will be detained and deported. And then you won't be putting in an asylum claim at all. You'll just be out, back to your own country or back to a safe country like Rwanda, somewhere else in the world. That is the system that I advocate. That's the system that we need now as a country. And we've got to get that as soon as possible, because this issue is causing immense harm to our country right now. And every day that Keir Starmer delays and obfuscates, pretends that you don't need to take radical steps, it's just more damage, more people coming in illegally, more cost to the British taxpayer, and frankly, more lives being wrecked by these crimes that we're now seeing, particularly sexual offences, rapes, sexual assaults. And I don't want to see the British public subjected to that for a day longer than is necessary. That's why I've always said that the small boats crisis is actually a national security crisis. We've got to bring this to an end.
A lot of people would agree with you, but I also suspect, I have no data on it, but the general sense you get, and you know what it's like up and down the country, who are they going to believe? Who are people going to trust at the ballot box to deal with the immigration issue? You've got to think, haven't you? It's more likely to be Nigel Farage than Kemi Badenoch.
Well, look, I have respect for Nigel. I know him well. I think he speaks for millions of people on these issues. What the Conservative Party has got to do, however, is show that it's changed fundamentally, that it will never make the mistakes that it did in the past, and bring forward serious answers to these challenges, setting out very clearly how we will secure our borders, how we will get rid of those outdated human rights laws, and how we will bring down legal migration to give the country the breathing space, ensure that you can get access to the housing, the doctors, the dentists, you name it, that you need, and how we can make our country more united again. Because one of the things that I've been speaking about, and sometimes am criticised by parts of the media for saying this, is our country feels very divided right now. And that's a product of so many people coming in such a short period of time. Mass migration has torn it, has wrecked our sense of national identity. And that's why we've got to get this under control now, once and for all.
OK, Robert Jenrick, Shadow Justice Secretary, thank you very much for joining us this morning on Breakfast.
Thank you.
Well, in regards to those two people who have been released from prison accidentally that we've just found out in the last 24 hours, let's talk to retired police officer Norman Brennan. Norman, good morning to you. I mean, certainly with this asylum seeker who was in the process of being deported, who's been released, it's taken 6 days for the police to be notified of this, so it would seem. Do they stand even the remotest chance of finding him?
Not very high. The police can barely attend their most routine of course. Good morning, Steve and Ellie. Let me just say this, Stephen. This is my overview of Britain at the moment. I'm politically homeless. I've been in policing and law and order for 50 years. I've never been so ashamed at the criminal justice system, which is not just broken, it's absolutely shattered. We can't protect our borders. We can't protect our streets. We can't protect our transport systems. And here we are talking about we can't even keep people in prisons. I agree with the other contributors. We've been absolutely saturated with illegal migrants, asylum seekers, people we don't have a clue about. I see the types of crimes that they've been committing, and I've been told about it from the policing sources over the last 7 or 8 years, something that the public were not told about. They now are. We don't just have a crisis, we have a system that is collapsing, and all anybody ever does is come on programmes like yours and said, yes, we made mistakes, something's got to be done, this can't carry on. But the trouble is, Stephen, Nobody is prepared to break that circle. And as I said, I'm politically homeless. This country's criminal justice system, and it's something serious that someone like me would say and think seriously about, is not safe in this government's hands. It's not safe with the Justice Minister, David Lammy. They are out of touch. They're not leaders. They have no vision. They have no passion, and they've lost control. And that's why Britain, sitting in their homes at the moment with their heads in their hands, saying, what next? I don't feel safe. I don't see the police, and all I see now is criminals escaping from prison, and the police that should be protecting me and investigating my crime are now chasing their tails, arresting the same people that they'd already arrested, convicted and put in prison.
Are you aware of, are you familiar with the accusation that there is this complete breakdown of communication between the Ministry of Justice and the police, or is that something that we're only experiencing relatively recently?
Well, it's not really a breakdown, Ellie. What it is, it's the police that are geared to do what they do, and that should be patrol the streets, attend calls, investigate crime. What they don't want to keep on having is the Ministry of Justice putting pressure on them when they can't do the job that they do. The real truth of this matter at HMP Wandsworth is that a third of the staff are unavailable to work. And pretty much like in policing, there's been such a mass rush to recruit people. It's clear that we've not been recruiting people, the right people I'm talking about. We can put a man on the moon, we can phone Australia in a matter of seconds and speak to a loved one over there, yet we can't keep people in prison where we've got computer systems that are world-renowned as being the best. How these cock-ups keep occurring, I don't know. But all these words of, we must do better, we must learn lessons, I'm afraid the public is sick and tired of listening to that. What they want to do is they want to live their lives in safety, travel the transport systems, walk the streets, and believe that the police are there to protect them. Sadly, everybody feels lost and alone and in despair. And sadly, I agree with them.
I mean, look, a lot of people will be watching and listening and saying, well, you make some valid points, but it's very easy to criticise with the greatest of respect, but much harder to come up with solutions to deal with it, isn't it? I mean, what are we looking at? Are we looking at a vast number of increase in the number of officers on the streets that is going to make a significant difference, or is that going to be a huge funding model which isn't going to actually change anything? I mean, it's a difficult issue to correct, isn't it?
Stephen, we know each other of old. 31 years I did in the police service. I was the first police officer ever to see the criminal justice system starting to break. The public being failed, victims not being looked after like they did. So I broke from the ranks whilst a serving officer, never done before. I told the government all of the solutions. I'm the lead campaigner in Britain on knife crime. I said, if you want to stop an epidemic, and I was at Downing Street 21 years ago with black and white families, loved ones who had been stabbed to death, standing in full uniform. And I said, Mr. Blair, if you want to prevent a knife crime epidemic, 5 years mandatory sentences for an adult, 3 for a child, mass stop and search, mass education programme, personal and parental responsibility, and role models. Do you think anybody took a blind bit of notice? Steve, look out your windows at Paddington. We have a knife crime epidemic. I am just a member of the public. I have a passion about victims. I've dedicated my entire life. And do you know what? People like me that see the problems, that see the visions, that come up with the solutions and suggestions that are achievable are ignored. And all we ever get is froth and no substance. We need 20,000 more police officers on the streets. We want a criminal justice system that is fair and equal to all. It's become a social services for the offenders. And the government keep coming out with promise after promise, crackdown after crackdown, and then they come out with saying we've got so many people in prison that we've got to release even more. And not only when they don't release them when they should be releasing them, after short sentences, they're now releasing them when they shouldn't have been released them. We're in absolute chaos, Stephen, and I'm afraid it's going to get worse. And I'm sorry to say that. And I repeat, I'm ashamed as one of Britain's leading law and order independent campaigners of what our criminal justice system has become.
OK, Norman Brennan, we're out of time with you, I'm afraid, but thank you very much for joining us.
Paints a grim picture, doesn't it?
It really does.
Anyway, look, the Ministry of Justice has had this to say.
The crisis in the prison system this government inherited is such that basic information about individual cases can take unacceptably long to reach ministers.
On entering the House of PMQs yesterday, facts were still emerging about the case and the Deputy Prime Minister had not been accurately informed of key details, including the offender's immigration status.
Now, at 23 minutes past 8, let's get a check on the weather with Annie Shuttleworth.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning. Welcome to your latest GB News weather update brought to you from the Met Office. It's going to be another very mild day for the time of year. A drier day for many, particularly across western areas, and possibly even a few glimmers of sunshine. It's still fairly cloudy start out there, though. Much of that cloud will lift as the day goes on, but the sunshine and the cloud will come and go through the day, as will the rain too. There's a risk of showers across eastern areas first thing this morning, and then into this afternoon, a few showers possibly across parts of Wales, southwestern England and moving into southern areas of Scotland too. But wherever you are, it's going to be another very mild day. We've still got those southerly winds, and in any sunshine we could reach 17 or 18 degrees. Into this evening then, it's still looking relatively dry for most of us. Quite a pleasant day to come for northern areas of Scotland, and it will stay relatively fine into this evening as well. Looking further west though, the cloud will roll in once again with a few showers around across western areas of Scotland, northwestern England as well, but Northern Ireland looking relatively dry. Further south across parts of the Midlands, a clear evening, but there is a risk of a few showers as we head into tonight, and the cloud's going to continue to come and go, but wherever you are, still staying very mild overnight tonight with those southerly winds dragging in plenty of mild air as well as the cloud. A few showers here and there. They should move through pretty quickly though if you do get caught with a shower on Thursday evening, and a relatively mild start to the day, a degree or so lower than this morning, but still pretty mild for the time of year. And it's going to be quite a fine day across eastern areas in particular on Friday once that cloud lifts through the morning. Still a few sunny spells across eastern areas of England, northern areas of Scotland as well, but looking further south and west, we've got the next batch of rain moving in. This could turn fairly heavy at times, as well as bringing some gustier winds and temperatures much closer to average in the low teens. Have a great day. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Still to come for you, the Prince of Wales has hosted the Earthshot Prize Awards in Rio last night. We'll find out how that went on and how he paid tribute to Diana, Princess of Wales.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Secretary is urging medical professionals to prescribe having a job as a form of treatment for anxiety and depression. West Streeting wants employment to be seen as being just as vital to health as diet and exercise. His comments come as the latest figures reveal there are more than 2.8 million people of working age who are economically inactive in the UK because of long-term sickness. Joining me now is a psychotherapist and broadcaster, Lucy Beresford. Lucy, good to see you. What do you make of this story? Prescribing going to work, basically?
In effect, that's what it's doing. And on the whole, I'm fully behind it because work is a very powerful mood lifter. It works on 3 levels, really. It gives you a sense of structure. It gives you somewhere that you have to go and to be there at certain times, maybe fulfill certain deadlines. It also gives you a sense of purpose. And we know from a lot of studies that when you have mental illness, and particularly when you have depression or anxiety, that sense of helplessness, worthlessness can be very debilitating, and it can send you on a downward spiral, make it very hard for you to get well. And yet if you have work, if you have a sense of purpose, if you have a mission, if you like, if you have goals, if you get improvements in your work and you get promoted, all of those things can be very beneficial. And the third thing, of course, is that in the workplace, we form human connections. We are very relational creatures, human beings. We come into this world physically joined to another person, and that is our template. We are longing for connection.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Bold.
They are under no illusion.
Ray.
Are you a human trafficker?
Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What I'm going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Now, just time to tell you about our latest Great British giveaway, and it's a goodie, isn't it?
It is, just in time for Christmas as well. £40,000 in tax-free cash, so you can have the Christmas of your...
All in time for the big day. Here are all of the details that you need.
We're giving you the chance to win your entire Christmas this year paid for by us. First, we'll give you an incredible £30,000 in tax-free cash so you can have a brilliant new year. Then we'll give you a further £10,000 cash to spend on all your Christmas presents, the decorations, even the tree. Christmas lunch, that's on us too, with £1,000 in shopping vouchers to spend at your favourite supermarket. Finally, a GB News Christmas goodie bag. And the best news? You'll get it all in time for the big day. For a chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB17 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 28th of November. The winner may be contacted live on GB News, week commencing the 8th of December. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Yes, good luck. Now, Prince William has hosted his 5th Earthshot Prize Awards ceremony in Brazil.
Yeah, 5 winners, 5 finalists, received £1 million each for their climate action projects.
Well, earlier in the day, the Prince of Wales followed in the footsteps of his mother, Diana, Princess of Wales, by posing for a picture in front of Christ the Redeemer.
Well, let's talk to Royal correspondent Katie Nicholl, who's here. Good morning.
Good morning.
I mean, these Earthshot things have got bigger and bigger and bigger every year.
I know. It's a bit like the Oscars, isn't it? It's very glam. I mean, he's very cleverly sort of seemed to merge that world of politics with the world of royalty and put the climate crisis, you know, right back on the front pages. Dare I say it, making it almost sexy when you see those pictures of him playing volleyball and looking fit, and, you know, Will's in his 40s looking better than he ever has done. And, you know, then we hear sweet things about how he tells his kids before they go to bed, reassuring them that the planet's going to be OK. I mean, I think one thing about this is he's absolutely passionate about it. I mean, I remember at its inception 5 years ago speaking to the people around him who were helping him set this up, who included his father, by the way, and Charles very much behind this. You know, he wanted this to be his legacy project, you know, the work for which he's always going to be remembered. And I think that's very much the case. I mean, I think these, you know, this is his moonshot, isn't it? This is his moment to really make a difference. And, you know, he had Kylie there last night at the awards ceremony. ceremony, Shawn Mendes. I mean, he pulls the big names out the bag, and he seems to really enjoy it, and it's making a great difference.
Yeah, and he's following in the footsteps of his father, as you say, with their passion for the environment.
And remember his mother, with that wonderful photo call outside Christ the Redeemer.
Well,
that was lovely too.
That must have been a really emotional moment for him, actually.
I think it was.
Do you think it was cathartic? Do you think it was potentially quite difficult for him?
You know, I've been with William around the world, including at the Taj Mahal, where he and Catherine sort of famously recreated that Diana image. I think it would almost be impossible to go back to somewhere where his mother had been and not pay a tribute. And the obvious way to do that, without needing to say any words, is to recreate that picture opportunity. You know, you never know what's going through someone's head when they do something like that. But he must have been thinking, gosh, 34 years ago, she was here, she was in that exact same position, looking out at the city. And of course, I suppose from a media perspective, knowing that it's going to be, as it is, on many of the front pages, on news headlines, and generating publicity, which is, of course, what he's got to do while he's out there.
But it's very interesting how he manages to, in a way that Harry hasn't, balance his mother and father in terms of how he deals with the memory and the reality.
Absolutely, such a good point. Yeah. It's true. And how he manages the press pack. And there was a moment when he was out on engagements yesterday and he sort of joked with the press pack, oh, gosh, you're very close. There was a banter, there was an exchange, and I think he does. He takes the best of his mother and his father and sort of is that brilliant hybrid. But when it comes to the press, I think William sort of really seemed to find that sweet spot, protects his family, and yet gives us a little nice nugget about that bedtime routine. You know, allows the media to be there, gets a bit, you know, not too close, but is getting all the press that he needs. So he seems to have done the right thing. And, by the way, knocked his disgraced uncle off the front pages in one fell swoop with Earthshot. So, fait accompli.
Yeah, exactly. And we've got COP30 as well next.
Yes, of course. He's heading there next in Belém and is taking on a really important position there, because he's going to be with world leaders. He's going to be delivering what we understand is going to be a real milestone landmark speech on behalf of his father for the first time. So that's sort of presenting William as a global statesman on the world stage.
Yeah, which is interesting, isn't it? Lovely. Katie, we'll see you a little bit later on.
You will.
For now, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, if you're travelling to work or school this morning, here's your traffic and travel update.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The M4 eastbound at junction 33 Capel-Llanilturn is congested. In Bedfordshire, an accident on the M1 northbound between junctions 12 and 13 has closed 2 lanes, adding 20 minutes to travel. Conditions should clear by 9:30 this morning. In Kent, the M20 eastbound entry at junction 8 is closed due to a medical emergency, with normal traffic resuming soon after 9:24. And on the trains, London North Western Railway reports no trains between Watford Junction and St Albans Abbey, while Northern buses replace trains between Corkicle and Whitehaven, and disruptions persist between Doncaster and Gilberdike. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Now, do stay with us. Still to come, Celebrity Traitors. It comes to an end tonight. But which of the 5 finalists is going to win the ultimate prize?
Yeah, we're talking to a former contestant in just a moment.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off-limits. You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it. That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless. But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show. Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, you didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates,
5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5.
You got me. You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah.
Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight on the unpredictable.
What did she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace
Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
Dedicated journalists across the UK.
We're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
Now, very exciting. It's the final of Celebrity Traitors tonight. 5 finalists are going to go head-to-head for the ultimate prize for their chosen charities.
Who's going to win? Well, we don't know, do we? But someone who might have an inkling is former Traitors contestant Kieran Thompson. Good to see you.
Good morning.
This morning. What have you made of the series so far this year?
I've really enjoyed it. I think it's very different from the normal show. The normal show is quite dramatic. There's lots of trauma in it, but I think this one has given us a lot of humour. So it's very, very different. But yeah, I've been gripped.
Why do you think it has been so different? Is it because it's celebrities and they all just kind of want to get along, that there's been more...
Yeah, and I think there's relationships in place. When we've done it, we don't know who it is, or we don't meet anyone before we go on the show. So there's some long-standing relationships with them guys there. So it is quite interesting to see, especially with like Alan and Paloma, the first murder, he killed her off straight away. So very interesting.
Yeah, and with the Traitors, I mean, I think what's been quite interesting this series is just the social experiment and just watching it all. So Alan Carr's been a traitor, and Kat Burns, who are both lovely people, and you can see the celebrities just not even consider the fact that they're traitors.
No, and Jonathan Ross as well. He's like the ultimate villain. I think he played a massive part in getting everyone else to the final. But yeah, Alan from episode 1 being so obvious and then making it to the end is no short of a miracle, and he's given us some absolute comedy gold along the way.
Why do you think it has completely swept the nation by storm?
I think the show has always been popular. It's growing in momentum over the last few years, but because they cast it really, really well, it's not like some of the other celebrity shows where there's a few celebrities in there. There's some big names in this one. Some massive TV icons. Yeah. Stephen Fry, I mean, Jonathan Ross, they're all up there.
And why do you think they've all said yes to it?
I think it's like I said a moment ago, I think it's the game, the psychological warfare. I think they can have a bit of fun with this time as well. It's not as dramatic and as brutal as R1. It doesn't seem that way anyway, but they're pipped against each other, and it's the biggest show on TV at the moment, so I'm sure it's not going to hurt anyone's career, is it? So...
Well, no, and also I was reading this morning, they're all saying yes to it because you don't actually have to reveal anything about your private life. You can just go on, you can play a game, and that's all you need to do, really.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people lining up now, because I think some people that would be itching to get on there to revamp their career or to take it to another step. I think everyone's going to come out of this series, especially Alan Carr. I think he's going to have his own talk show. He's going to absolutely kill it. So, really excited.
When you were in, you were a faithful and a traitor.
Yes.
So you've seen all sides of it.
Yeah, and we didn't really know what we were doing from season 1. So the game's evolved so much now. You can have fun with it. You can really be a bit devious without being publicly destroyed. So there's a lot you can do with the game now, and you can see no one's really going to take it to heart. So I think it's just going to evolve each year as well. It's got a long shelf life.
What did you enjoy being more, a faithful or a traitor?
I didn't have a chance to settle into the traitor role, but if I ever went back, I'd absolutely love to be a traitor because now I understand the game a bit more. We didn't know what we were doing, so
you could have more fun with the traitor.
Yeah, and you've got a chance of surviving much longer as well. So.
Yeah, that's true.
And traitors will be traitors. They will throw each other under the bus, as you saw the other night with Kat and Jonathan. So it's inevitable at some point. So
who's going to win then, Kieran?
I'm going for the person I said at the beginning, Joe Marler. And Nick, I think they've got it. There is the swing vote there, though, with David. David can go either way. So if whatever team convinced David, that's going to be the outcome of the win. So I just hope that Joe and Nick can pull it off. If not, it's a traitors win,
Imagine.
I think a traitors win might be quite nice because it's just devious. I'm a bit.
They deserve. I mean, if Alan won, it would be. I don't think it will ever be replicated. So
no, he's been fantastic. But Joe Marler's been fantastic.
Yeah, he's played a really good game. Nick's had a fantastic game. The name of the game is to survive. So just get to that final and go from there. So we shall see.
We shall see tonight, won't we? It's been a fantastic series. Kieran, thank you for coming in and talking to us. And you need to watch it. You're going to love it.
I know.
You'd love all the psychological warfare and devious tricks. And you'd love all of that.
Should I say I'm a devious, underhand person?
I think you'd be a very good traitor, I'm just saying.
All the traits.
Thanks a lot, you two. I could fall out with you two.
You'd be very good. It means you're very intelligent.
Oh, does it? All right, I'll take that. Right. Still to come, we've got the papers with Freddie and Tim. First, if you want some holiday sun, here's the European forecast.
I hope we haven't forgotten anything.
Travel insurance, I tick that box.
Yeah, but remember what you forgot last year.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello, we've got some wet weather moving into Portugal through Friday, showers across the Mediterranean, but if you're heading away on the weekend, it is looking much drier across parts of the Med. In the Canaries, plenty of dry and sunny weather. That wet weather spreading into parts of Portugal and through the Mediterranean. We've got an area of low pressure bringing wet weather towards Italy as well as further east as well. But as I said, into the weekend, it is looking much drier with plenty of sunshine and temperatures in the mid-20s in Tenerife.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world. Am I allowed to talk then? No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Sir Jacob Rees-Mogg's State of the Nation, Monday to Thursday from 8 p.m.
But I saw in that incredible ancient ceremony how it and our traditions held the country together. It wasn't just the proclamation at St James's Palace, it was the wave of them that then spread around the country. It involved all of us, it reminded us who we were, and it galvanised support for the new king. And I thought, this is just incredible. And then I started to think about, actually, all of these things have been arrived at and our amazing uncodified constitution, which is written down, but in about 400 different places. It's all held together by these rituals and these ceremonies and customs. And even our law is devised that way. And actually, the conclusion I came to is that these things are really important. I think we don't really recognise, we like them, but we don't really recognise how fundamental they are to our reliability, our dependability as a nation, and our ability to cope with change. They celebrate service and duty. They celebrate sacrifice. They are based around, I would say, the values of the nation. And most of them, in fact, I think all of them, are funded not by the public sector. It's not local authority grants doing this, it's local traders. In terms of the local traditions and customs, the madder the better, as far as they're concerned. And I think this points to another element, that the absurd and our sense of humour. It's the only thing we take really seriously in this country. So I think that is fine. But I think we do adapt these traditions. They do modernise.
GB News, the People's Channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Right, time to go through the papers with Tim Vincent and Freddie Gray. Tim Vincent, who's just got, renovation tips for us in the break.
A quick renovation tip
Tim's
for you.
tips.
Very
Tim's
good.
tips. Oh, that could be a segment.
Actually, that's not a bad idea. That one.
All right, Tim, let's start with you, should we? And the Mail. And Lord Grade, who's now chairman of Ofcom.
Yes, the head of the broadcasting regulator, Ofcom, Lord Grade, has called on the BBC to seriously examine concerns over impartiality.
There's been interesting, because of course he was top of the BBC at his time.
Well, he's the grand fromage of television. He's pretty much been everywhere, hasn't he? And the 19-page document was written by Michael Proscott. He spent 3 years on this. What's interesting, actually, and I think this is why the Mail are picking up today, is that the Culture, Media and Sports Select Committee have called for them to go and answer some questions on Wednesday, so I think there's probably going to be more about that's going to come out as well. And the BBC have to be very careful, don't they?
Well, especially in the wake of what with this Trump business.
Yeah, I think this Prescott report it's going to be, for people that don't like the BBC, it's going to be the gift that keeps on giving. I mean, there's lots of things they've been getting wrong. And it's an investigation that's exposed quite a lot of it.
And it's from an internal whistleblower.
Internal whistleblower.
It's not external forces here.
Internal concern, I think, about what was going on editorially. And I think, a lot of people saying, can Tim Davie hold on as director? I don't know.
Also, the Foreign Office, in part, funds BBC Arabic, and those are concerns that they're giving prominence to pro-Hamas propaganda and allegations like that.
Yes, well, I mean, Hugh Edwards, you name it, the scandals keep piling up.
It's not good. It's not a pretty picture.
No.
Not being a pretty picture for Trump this week, Freddie. This is in the Telegraph. Trump's bad week.
Yes, I think Trump has had a bad week. So there was obviously the big mayoral election in New York on Tuesday night. Mamdani won that, seen as a great rejection of Trump. But I think perhaps more interestingly was that the Republican Party lost in New Jersey and Virginia much more dramatically than was expected. And this sort of goes against the kind of Trumpian narrative that has dominated, which is that they are turning America around, it's going to entering a gilded age and so on. It seems like the voters aren't really feeling that. And the Democrats have more life left in them than people thought. So it's been a pretty bad week for Donald Trump. On top of that, the Supreme Court yesterday, it's not the decision, but it's the sort of the view of the court was published on his tariffs. And the Supreme Court, it looks as though the Supreme Court is going to side against him on tariffs, which is huge for him, because if that's effectively blocked, that's a major part of his strategy, his entire government policy has been, if that's blocked by the Supreme Court, that's going to be a huge fight politically. And it will send the markets into all sorts of turmoil because nobody will know what's going on again.
No. It's frightening. I used to live in the States and work for NBC, and you go out to the States a lot. New York, both of us, city built on immigration, Statue of Liberty, everybody's welcome. It's been a frightening time. All my friends are out there with ICE. On the stories that are coming out from people that I know that's not hyperbole, they won't go to the equivalent of B&Q now if they've got dark skin, because they know ICE are hanging out there, even though they're perfectly legal to be in that country, because they're going to be abducted or potentially abducted. So I think it's
is that? I mean,
absolutely, and I'm not saying that's hearsay. That's from friends that I know who are born Italian, born in America, lives in Los Angeles, but is careful of where he goes in his car now. It's that bad, and I think the voters are actually sticking up to it, and it'll be interesting midterms what happens next, because
I think that's complete. The Tuesday night's results suggest that the Republicans are going to have a much harder time. I mean, the party that the president belongs to always has a hard time in the midterms, almost always. And but I think it could be much worse than Republicans think. That's what it looks like at the moment, anyway.
Fingers crossed.
Well, it's fascinating. It's fascinating because you sort of look at other countries' politics and almost you just see what's projected rather than delving into it.
Well, and it's particularly with Trump because you can, sometimes he seems all powerful, other times he seems very vulnerable. But it's why for me, he's the most fascinating story of the last 8 years.
Let's have a look at something which is putting a smile on my face, Tim, this morning, which is in the Times. Water bosses at 6 water firms have had £4 million in bonuses blocked.
It's a really good... Yeah, absolutely, I completely agree. It's...
Some good news, yeah.
6 water companies, including Thames Water, which we all know because we are based in London, have been denied £4 million in bonuses because of new sanctions on failing firms. Yeah, a law was passed in February made it impossible for the officials to ban bonuses for executives at companies that fail to meet performance standards. This is probably and hopefully the start of more things to come. It's the devil's in the detail on these things. £4 million is probably neither here nor there for them. However, they are actually having to stand up and be responsible for their actions. And I think we can all agree that, water and pollution is a huge problem in this country. So hopefully there's going to be more of this.
Yeah, I mean, something needs to happen.
Well, in terms of public-private partnerships, water is probably the worst example, and everybody knows how bad it is, and what a complete rip-off it's been for British people. Yeah. So I think if Labour, this is one of the things Labour could really get a grip on, actually. I think a lot of people
Isn't it
are not generally...
we are talking about renationalisation a lot, actually, with all these different areas. I mean, it was the golden goose back in the 80s. Yeah, absolutely. And now we've all sort of decided, actually, it didn't work.
Well, I think that sort of mood of liberalisation has gone. Because a lot of people see that we're getting the worst of the private and the worst of the public.
And it's staggering the bonuses that they were taken when the infrastructure wasn't working. I think it's one of those companies, if it was brought back into our power, everybody would agree with. Some people would still argue that the trains could be run better if it's a private firm, but water is something that, you turn on the tap first thing in the morning, it should be what you're getting is what it says on the tin, really. Yeah. Where I live, I've developed a little small holding, a farm in Wales near the river, and the amount of problems we've had with that river.
Yeah. All right, you two. Thanks very much indeed.
Let's get back now on the weather.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning. Welcome to your latest GB News weather update brought to you from the Met Office. It's going to be another very mild day for the time of year. A drier day for many, particularly across western areas, and possibly even a few glimmers of sunshine. It's still fairly cloudy start out there, though. Much of that cloud will lift as the day goes on, but the sunshine and the cloud will come and go through the day, as will the rain too. There's a risk of showers across eastern areas first thing this morning, and then into this afternoon, a few showers possibly across parts of Wales, southwestern England and moving into southern areas of Scotland too. But wherever you are, it's going to be another very mild day. We've still got those southerly winds, and in any sunshine we could reach 17 or 18 degrees. Into this evening then, it's still looking relatively dry for most of us. Quite a pleasant day to come for northern areas of Scotland, and it will stay relatively fine into this evening as well. Looking further west though, the cloud will roll in once again with a few showers around across western areas of Scotland, northwestern England as well, but Northern Ireland looking relatively dry. Further south across parts of the Midlands, a clear evening, but there is a risk of a few showers as we head into tonight, and the cloud's going to continue to come and go, but wherever you are, still staying very mild overnight tonight with those southerly winds dragging in plenty of mild air as well as the cloud. A few showers here and there. They should move through pretty quickly though if you do get caught with a shower on Thursday evening, and a relatively mild start to the day, a degree or so lower than this morning, but still pretty mild for the time of year. And it's going to be quite a fine day across eastern areas in particular on Friday once that cloud lifts through the morning. Still a few sunny spells across eastern areas of England, northern areas of Scotland as well, but looking further south and west, we've got the next batch of rain moving in. This could turn fairly heavy at times, as well as bringing some gustier winds and temperatures much closer to average in the low teens. Have a great day. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Today's outlook: cool, calm, and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for helping us reach 8 million followers across social media. Thank you for making us a part of your daily life.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. Congestion on the A48M westbound between Junction 29 Castleton and Junction 29A St Mellons. The M20 eastbound entry slip at Junction 8 in Kent is closed due to a medical emergency. Normal traffic conditions are expected between 9:30 and 9:45 this morning. Bedfordshire's M1 northbound between junctions 12 and 13 has a road collision with 2 lanes closed and 50-minute delays. And on the trains, no services between Watford Junction and St Albans Abbey on London North Western Railway, with disruptions from Doncaster to Gilberdike on northern services. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
We're giving you the chance to win your entire Christmas this year paid for by us. First, we'll give you an incredible £30,000 in tax-free cash. Then we'll give you a further £10,000 cash to spend on all your Christmas presents, even the tree. Christmas lunch, that's on us too, with £1,000 in shopping vouchers to spend at your favourite supermarket. Finally, a GB News Christmas goodie bag. For a chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge, or post your name and number to GB17 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 28th of November. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world. Am I allowed to talk now? No, that's it. This is where it matters. Real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Good morning. A manhunt is underway for 2 prisoners mistakenly released from HMP Wandsworth,
including an Algerian sex offender who's in the early stages of being deported.
Well, it's been revealed the prison service failed to realise he was missing for 6 days. Is it a sign that Britain's prisons are not fit for purpose?
In other news, a Home Office whistleblower claims that staff are being pressured into approving asylum cases, even when the person in question has been charged with sex crimes. Earlier, we spoke to Shadow Justice Secretary Robert Jenrick, who blamed the government for the rise in illegal migration.
The small boats crisis is actually a national security crisis. We've got to bring this to an end.
Prince William hails climate innovators as the world's true action heroes as he hosts the Earthshot Prize in Rio.
For my children particularly, knowing that the planet's going to be in a healthier, better state because of the brilliant people in this room is something that I love to tell them, you know, when they go to bed. It's like, it's going to be great. Your future is going to be as bright as future's gone by.
The Prime Minister joins Prince William in Rio ahead of the COP30 climate summit in the Amazon.
Good morning. It's going to be another mild day wherever you are, and some of us could see some sunshine. Find out all the details with me a little later on.
It's just gone 9 o'clock. I'm Stephen Dixon.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast.
Well, there is a lot of concern, of course, about these two people released from HMP Wandsworth. I mean, and particularly, you've got to say, with the asylum seeker who was convicted of a sex crime, who was meant to be deported, who was released and nobody seemed to realise it for 6 days, which means, as one of our police experts earlier on was saying, there seems very little chance of catching him now.
Which is a really bad state of affairs.
It's a really bad state of affairs. Prison releases, accidental ones, happen all the time, and as Ellie ran through the figures earlier on, it averages out at sort of, 50 or so a year. Now, that's 50 that shouldn't happen.
One a week,
of
on
course.
average,
It's one a week, isn't it? But in the last 12 months, there's been 262.
Yeah, a sharp increase. Last year.
So there are lots of questions as to why is that happening? What is going on in the system that is making that happen? It clearly cannot be right, can it? Absolutely can't be right. And on top of that, of course, you've got the increase in the small boats crisis.
Yeah, of course. We were speaking to Robert Jenrick about that earlier on, the Shadow Justice Secretary. Let's have a listen to what he had to say.
This issue is causing immense harm to our country right now. And every day that Keir Starmer delays and obfuscates, pretends that you don't need to take radical steps, it's just more damage, more people coming in illegally, more cost to the British taxpayer, and frankly, more lives being wrecked by these crimes that we're now seeing, particularly sexual offences, rapes, sexual assaults. And I don't want to see the British public subjected to that for a day longer than is necessary. That's why I've always said that the small boats crisis is actually a national security crisis. We've got to...
Well, we are waiting to hear from Alex Davis-Jones, the Victims Minister, from the government, so hopefully we can put some of these questions to him about how these people were released in the first place. Also going to be talking to them about this story from a whistleblower on the front page of The Telegraph today, saying that migrants are being given asylum in this country, despite the fact there are charges of sex offences being brought against them. So we'll be talking to the government very shortly on that.
I mean, one of the confusing things with that is it seems to be and they've released a statement not sort of acknowledging that this is happening, but saying we are currently moving to make sure that anyone with a sexual offence cannot be given asylum. But at the moment, they seem to be going through. So long as that sentence is 12 months or less that they'd been given in whichever country they're coming from. Of course, that begs a question because of the man who was released from prison accidentally a couple of weeks ago, who was given here for sexual offences a 12-month sentence, and on that basis was being deported. So we can deport people for having a sexual offence conviction of 12 months or less, but we're still letting them in.
We can still grant asylum to those very same people.
And
many sex crimes, you would get a sentence of 12 months or less, wouldn't you?
Yeah, no, it's a very odd situation. In the meantime, let's just say what the Ministry of Justice is saying about the prison releases, and they say, and this is actually more about the fact that David Lammy, the Deputy Prime Minister and the Justice Secretary, was standing in at PMQs yesterday and was sort of asked about this and didn't have any answers. And obfuscated pretty badly, it has to be said. It was not a pretty sight. And the MOJ have said the crisis in the prison system this government inherited is such that basic information about individual cases can take unacceptably long to reach ministers.
Well, on entering the House for PMQs yesterday, facts were still emerging about the case, and the Deputy Prime Minister had not been accurately informed of key details, including the offender's immigration status.
Let's talk to our Home and Security Editor, Mark White, who joins us now. Mark, I mean, people are going to be holding their head in their hands over all of this. The fact that we are seeing 2 more releases, accidental releases, straight after the fact we've been told that the system was being considerably tightened up.
Yeah, and on that issue of why we didn't get any kind of comment, acknowledgement, statement from David Lammy, I think the Minister of Justice are just scrambling around looking for some kind of an explanation that really just goes to why on earth he didn't just acknowledge, because I can't believe he didn't know exactly what the opposition were asking him here. We're just dancing on the head of a pin in semantics when you're talking about the opposition saying that this was an asylum seeker, but the immigration status wasn't known. They absolutely did know that he was a foreign national offender, that he was an Algerian man, and whether you knew the exact circumstances of his immigration status or not, he was a foreign national offender. That could have been acknowledged. He had a pre-prepared statement, and no one's asking for, you know, an absolute explanation as to what on earth went wrong, but just an acknowledgement that there was an incident, that there is an individual on the loose at the moment, and that they will at some point, as soon as they get the facts verified, give a more detailed assessment to the House. Something like that would at least, I think, have gone some way to getting us away from what was an absolute farcical situation with a bad-tempered Deputy Prime Minister and an opposition spokesman asking those questions over and over and over again.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing is with all of these, when we've got a system in crisis, Mark, which we appear to have at the moment, for whatever reason, nobody is going to have any faith when it comes to that sort of delivery. I mean, it does matter. Performance matters.
Yes, it does. And listen, I obviously, through the brief that I do, speak to people within the prison service all of the time, and they are deeply disheartened, especially with the reaction to the mistaken release of Hadush Kabatu and the finger pointing that appeared to go towards an individual officer, rather than actually acknowledging that you have a prison system in absolute meltdown, exacerbated, according to those within the prison service I speak to, by the changes brought in by this government. And that's why we've seen in the year to March this year a doubling of the number of those mistakenly released, up to 262, because when Shabana Mahmood, as she was the Justice Secretary then, decided that she was going to release prisoners 40% of the way through their prison term to free up thousands of spaces, that brought about the most devastating churn within the prison system, where the complexities involved in releasing a prisoner anyway are complicated enough with the paperwork they have to do and all the cross-checks. Then when you have the most almighty churn and fewer staff dealing with more and more prisoners, it is very difficult for those prison officers. I said the last time when Hadush Kabatu was released mistakenly, do we honestly think this is one incompetent prison service member, or actually, if there were 262 mistaken releases over the past year, does that actually point to something more systemic rather than one incompetent prison officer?
I mean, one of the greatest concerns here, Mark, as you say, is the fact that this sex offender, this Algerian prisoner, Brahim Kadour Sharif, was free for 6 days before the error was even spotted and then communicated to the police.
Yeah, I mean, that is absolutely unforgivable, and it speaks to, as I say, particular issues, not just within the prison service, but within Wandsworth Prison, where it has seemed to be failing on so many levels over the years, and no one can seem to get to grip with the issue. The fact is, it's an old Victorian prison. It has many, many hundreds of inmates, sometimes just less than or just over 80 prison staff who are trying to deal with more than 1,200 prisoners. So it's really, really difficult. And as far as Brahim Kadour Sharif is concerned, we can give you some details about some of the background to this individual. It wasn't just, as it's trying to be portrayed by some at the moment, some low-level sexual offence that we need to be concerned about. This is an individual who has been convicted of or accused of at least 10 separate crimes over the last couple of years. And those crimes were that crime, yes, of indecent exposure, the crimes of burglary, the crimes of possessing drugs, the crime of assaulting a police officer, another crime of assault using beating. So multiple offences recorded against him, one or two other offences that are still going through the system. And this was an individual who was actually in immigration enforcement removal earlier this year, but somehow was taken out of immigration enforcement removal at Heathrow, and then was free again on the streets until he was arrested in September in connection with this aggravated trespass with a view to stealing.
OK, Mark, we're going to leave it there for now, but thanks very much indeed. Let's go to Westminster, where we can talk to the Victims Minister, Alex Davies-Jones. We appreciate your time this morning. Look, I mean, it's got to be very difficult for you, hasn't it, as Victims Minister, someone meant to be representing victims, when your government is releasing offenders onto the streets?
Look, any prison release in error is totally unacceptable, and I share the fury and frustration of your viewers that this has happened. But what's important to recognise here is that this is a symptom of the chronic crisis in our prisons that we've inherited, that we need to get to grips with. We can't fix this overnight, but what we can do is put in immediate steps to help support prison staff. We're bringing in a crack team of tech experts today to help them having to deal with the reams and reams of paperwork that they're dealing with still in the 21st century, which is just absolutely mental. We are supporting them. We're bringing in the governors today to discuss with them about what more we can do on the ground to help and support them. And Dame Lynn Owens is doing a rapid review looking at exactly how this has happened and what more we can do to make sure this doesn't happen again. But ultimately, this isn't going to be solved overnight. I can't wave a magic wand, build more prisons overnight. We are embarking on the biggest prison building programme since the Victorian era. You know, the last time Labour left office, we'd built 28,000 prison places. The Tories, after 14 years, built just 500. Chronic underfunding, 14 years of austerity. This is the result. But what we are doing is getting to grips with this because it's totally unacceptable, and I feel the fury.
But that argument isn't holding any weight anymore, is it? To just say, look, it's your fault that we are making these mistakes. This is happening now under your watch. In fact, it's got even worse. I mean, under the Tories, I was speaking to Robert Jenrick earlier, I put to him that in 22, 23 and 24, there was a number of releases in error. There was 54 in 2022, 71 releases in 2023, 87 releases in 2024. A sharp increase under your watch to 262. We hear from the Justice Secretary saying, I've instituted the strongest release checks in prison possible, and yet we get 2 releases in the same week, accidental releases in the same week. This is a farce.
I think facts matter here. When the Tories left office, they were releasing in error around 17 prisoners a month. It's now around 22 prisoners released in error a month. But any prisoner released in error a month is unacceptable. That is why we need to take action. But it's facts that matter, and the facts matter here in regards to our prison system in absolute crisis. Human error is happening because our prison officers are having to deal with reams and reams of paperwork rather than having the tech needed to support them and the data necessary in order to have those checks and balances of releases. That's what we're bringing in today. That's what I'm announcing. But more importantly, we're building more prisons. We're investing in our probation service to ensure that we never, ever get into the position where we were just before the general election, which the Tories called to run away from the problem rather than dealing with the issue at hand. But we are the ones cleaning up that mess to ensure that there will always be a prison place available for a perpetrator who needs it.
But 2 weeks ago, David Lammy said, you know, you were immediately instituting the most sort of harsh, critical pre-release checks ever in relation, following the one previous release that obviously made all the headlines, and yet it's happened again. So I mean, and now you're saying, well, you're bringing more stuff in today. People aren't going to have any faith. It didn't work a fortnight ago.
Look, clearly something has gone wrong here and we're getting to the bottom of exactly what that is. I'm looking forward to Dame Lynn Owen's report, looking at exactly what more we can do, what the recommendations are, working with the governors, working with the staff, but this isn't going to be fixed overnight. I can't wave that magic wand and build more prison places instantly. I genuinely wish I could, but what we can do is get to the bottom of all of this, introduce better sentencing powers, more prison places, and ensuring that victims feel better supported. That's my role as Victims Minister, and to reassure the public, because public protection is our #1 priority here, that there will always be that prison place available and that we will support victims directly and make sure that we never, ever get into the absolutely, frankly, unacceptable position we were in when we came into office on a justice system on the brink of collapse.
Did David Lammy, the Justice Secretary, mislead the Commons yesterday? It's thought he had a statement on the release of this prisoner, but didn't read it out. He said he didn't want to preempt the Met making a statement, but the Met have said they were happy for him to confirm it. So why didn't he confirm it? Why wasn't he clear in the House? Do you have confidence in him as the Justice Secretary?
There's a proper way of releasing information to the public, and we need to make sure that we do that once all of the facts have been established. The Home Office hadn't yet ascertained the full nature of the migration status of the individual. There were concerns that he was an asylum seeker. That turned out to be false. He was an illegal migrant, and it's important that we don't mislead the public with wrong information. As soon as all of the facts had become apparent, a statement was made to the public, and the Deputy Prime Minister will be facing the media later today, and he will be facing the Parliament on Tuesday when the House returns.
OK. Minister, appreciate your time. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
I mean, I have to say, well, so she's very strident. She gets on with it. But I'm afraid it's that we've said it all morning, haven't we? When you've been in office for nearly 18 months, the idea of blaming everything on everybody else, the last administration, starts to wear a bit thin.
It does, and you need to start to take some responsibility, don't you, for what's happening right here, right now. Anyway, let us know what you think on that one.
Still to come, we're going to be looking at Prince William. He did the Earthshot Prize in Rio last night. He's heading to COP30 today. We'll find out what's going on with Katie Nicholl in a moment.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, you didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Dubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m, only on GB News.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
(9:21), let's tell you about the giveaway, because you could have your entire Christmas on us. Here's how.
We're giving you the chance to win your entire Christmas this year paid for by us. First, we'll give you an incredible £30,000 in tax-free cash, so you can have a brilliant new year. Then we'll give you a further £10,000 cash to spend on all your Christmas presents, the decorations, even the tree. Christmas lunch, that's on us too, with £1,000 in shopping vouchers to spend at your favourite supermarket. Finally, a GB News Christmas goodie bag. And the best news? You'll get it all in time for the big day. For a chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB17 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 28th of November. The winner may be contacted live on GB News, week commencing the 8th of December. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Now let's talk about Prince William, shall we, who's just hosted the Earthshot Prize, his 5th version of the awards. Let's speak now to royal correspondent Katie Nicholl. It's been a wonderful time for Prince William in Brazil, hasn't it?
Well, by the time he gets back, he'll have been out there for 5 days. Obviously, a big solo tour. I mean, it's a bit of a double whammy because it's Earthshot and then, of course, he's going on to COP30 later on today. So quite an important moment for him, really.
He's representing the King.
He is. He's representing the King. He's going to be giving what we understand is very much a landmark speech. At COP, of course, you know, packed with world leaders. I think it's the first time he's represented his father at COP because, of course, you know, in the past, Charles has always gone. So I think you're seeing William stepping into this statesman role on the international stage, but, of course, off the back of what he's passionate about, Earthshot, his legacy, his moonshot, now in its 5th year. And, you know, his attempts, I think, all in preparation of him one day being king, to save the planet.
And also paying tribute to his late mother whilst he's been in Brazil, so it must have been quite an emotional time for him as well.
Yeah, it was a lovely moment underneath Christ the Redeemer, and he reprised that moment. Of course, 34 years before, that was the very same photo opportunity that Diana gave the press. And I think it's, you know, one of the things I've noticed is just William's interaction with the press pack. You know, he's always kept them at arm's length, but there does seem to be a willingness to cooperate here. And I think it's just worth pointing out. I know Prince Andrew's the 2 words William doesn't want associated with this whole trip, but he has single-handedly swept his uncle off the front pages, which no one else seemed to be able to do last week.
Oh, well, we can all breathe a sigh of relief about that, can't we? Katie, really good to see you this morning. Thank you very much indeed. Right, it's Britain's Newsroom coming up at 9:30. Andrew and Miriam are standing by, ready to roll. Morning, you two.
Good morning.
What have you got for us?
Well, lots more on that double, or is it triple manhunt underway? And we'll be looking at why accidental prison releases have gone up over 100% in 1 year. And could it have anything to do with the fact that 20% of prison officer recruit last year were from foreign countries, most of them West Africa?
Some of whom, and some couldn't speak English.
So could that have something to do with bad releases? That's all after the weather.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning. Welcome to your latest GB News weather update brought to you from the Met Office. It's going to be another very mild day for the time of year. A drier day for many, particularly across western areas, and possibly even a few glimmers of sunshine. It's still fairly cloudy start out there, though. Much of that cloud will lift as the day goes on, but the sunshine and the cloud will come and go through the day, as will the rain too. There's a risk of showers across eastern areas first thing this morning, and then into this afternoon, a few showers possibly across parts of Wales, southwestern northwestern England and moving into southern areas of Scotland too. But wherever you are, it's going to be another very mild day. We've still got those southerly winds, and in any sunshine we could reach 17 or 18 degrees. Into this evening then, it's still looking relatively dry for most of us. Quite a pleasant day to come for northern areas of Scotland, and it will stay relatively fine into this evening as well. Looking further west though, the cloud will roll in once again with a few showers around across western areas of Scotland, northwestern England as well, but Northern Ireland looking relatively dry. Further south across parts of the Midlands, a clear evening, but there is a risk of a few showers as we head into tonight, and the cloud's going to continue to come and go, but wherever you are, still staying very mild overnight tonight with those southerly winds dragging in plenty of mild air as well as the cloud. A few showers here and there. They should move through pretty quickly though if you do get caught with a shower on Thursday evening. And a relatively mild start to the day, a degree or so lower than this morning, but still pretty mild for the time of year. And it's going to be quite a fine day across eastern areas in particular on Friday once that cloud lifts through the morning. Still a few sunny spells across eastern areas of England, northern areas of Scotland as well, but looking further south and west, we've got the next batch of rain moving in. This could turn fairly heavy at times, as well as bringing some gustier winds and temperatures much closer to average in the low teens. Have a great day. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for making us the fastest growing news website in the nation. Because the truth matters, and so do you.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The M8 eastbound is restricted at junction 16. Approach cautiously. Congestion on the A4